If you're looking for exclusive content, please don't look any further than joining the Trap Talk Patreon family. Some of the best reptile keepers in this industry are part of the Trap Talk Patreon family. As soon as you join the Patreon family, you connect to a Discord. You can also tap into an Instagram group chat, connect with some of the most diverse keepers we have in the reptile hobby today. Shout out to my Patreon members and be ready for Trap Fest 2026. It's going to be one of the biggest events yet. Find all information again in the very first link in the description below. And again, thank you so much to all my fellow Patreon members out there. Cheers!
T-minus 30 seconds. T-minus 20 seconds. 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. 0.
Trap Talk, Reptile Network, coolest reptile network in the world. Welcome to episode 763, New Breed on the Block recap episode. My man Austin in the house from Hatch Reptiles, freshly branded. This is going to be epic. What is good? I'm your boy MJ. Happy Monday. Morning, afternoon, evening. Trap Talks Global. So wherever you're at, you're now tapped in. So thank you so much, guys. I'm your boy MJ. Big E, Top G is not with us. I got you guys. Hey, listen, Big E does not miss a lot of these. Only certain circumstances keep Big E from doing a Monday show. We all know that. Either vending or having a grandchild, okay? He's expecting his first grandbaby from his daughter, which is probably, I know what it's like having my son, but having a grandchild, oh my God, what a whole nother new feeling. So let's keep our fingers crossed for Big E and his family. He will definitely be missed on tonight's episode or today's episode. Listen, for the last, I don't know how long, anytime we bring up Scrambler, it's a passionate topic, right? Because listen, people in the ball python game are pretty passionate about being part of the ball python game. It's a hot topic, all right? And what's crazy is the amount of people wishing I would stop talking about Scrambler. Good luck, okay, first and foremost. If it's anything in relation to what we do on this podcast, which is breed ball pythons, we're going to fucking talk about it, all right? So whoever out there is praying that MJ would stop talking about Scrambler, keep praying, motherfucker. It ain't going to stop, okay? Like I said, this podcast brings awareness across the board, and we keep it real as shit on this podcast. And that's a fact. You can't take anything away from Trap Talk other than keeping shit real, all right? So definitely going to be covering Scrambler tonight, my man Austin. Austin's been working Scrambler for a minute. All right, he's probably one of the first guys I ever tapped in with who was working the project. I respect Austin quite a bit, okay? Go back to me and Austin's very first podcast where we're snapping bowls together, dude. You know, when he was Royal Highness. Fuck, dude. He was a kid then. And he's still a kid now, but not really, you know? We kind of grew up. And so Austin is definitely one of those guys who I respect when it comes to ID and morphs. He's helped me quite a bit, dude. Like, I'll never forget, I used to hate Justin's answers all the time whenever I would ask Justin to help me ID something. And I get it now. It's kind of annoying having someone ask you, like, what is this? But Austin was always there for me anytime I had a question about an ID on a production, and I really valued his answers and his input. So I just want to get this out there now that Austin is more than just a guest on tonight's show. He's a homie of mine. Somebody I've been watching grow in this hobby. I seen him start with mutation creation and now work his way solo, which we're definitely going to be talking about him rebranding himself and how that's helped him and where his goals are set for Hatch Reptiles. So this is, anyone out there who's wanting to know how to brand themselves or maybe potentially rebrand themselves, this is going to be a big episode. And of course, if you're still wondering about Scrambler, this is also going to be a really good episode. So you guys are in for a fucking awesome time. All right. Thanks for everyone who's tapping in. Shout out to the early birds and people in the chats. You guys are here on a morning. My morning time with me. So, MJ, when it's morning, my energy's through the roof. Okay. So I'm excited. I'm going to get to tonight's sponsors. That's ZoomEd. #1 reptile brand in the industry, just shy of 50 years now. Get your next reptile product at zoomed.com. Go to Zoomed's website in the description below. Check out all the latest products with Zoomed in the description below. My favorite being the Slither Sense. But yes, thank you so much, Zoomed, for supporting the network. And guys, again, check them out on their website. Go on YouTube and go follow them on all social media platforms, Facebook and Instagram. Thank you so much, Zoomed. Also, tonight's episode is brought to you by KINOVA Reptiles and Clutch, #1 ball python organization app in the game. If you're just coming in this game, highly suggest you come in organized, stay cutting edge, stay fresh, use Clutch. The best in this game, use Clutch, and that's a fact. All right, so thank you so much, Justin Gabelka from KINOVA and Clutch and the entire Clutch team. You guys are doing big things, and looking forward to more announcements and more collaborations with Clutch. Also, today's episode is brought to you by PRAGUE MORPHS, my favorite European breeders in the ball python game, especially when it comes to their projects, super top tier stuff. Always been a fan of what they have going on, and they are not missing any steps over there. So shout out Devin and Teresa over at PRAGUE MORPHS. Go to their website, praguemorphs.com, see what they have available. Also go to their Instagram, subscribe to their YouTube channel, stay on top of all their projects, and be ready for a big 2026 out of PRAGUE MORPHS. Thank you so much, Devin and Teresa. Also, today's episode is brought to you by Focus Cube Habitats, #1 PVC enclosures in the game. Everything you see behind me are 3x2x2 PVC design enclosures by Stephen and Ashley over at Focus Cube Habitats out of Texas. Get more enclosures from Focus Cube Habitats because I'm just filling up my entire room like it's freaking Tetris over here, all Focus Cubed out. Okay, so thank you so much again, Stephen and Ashley over at Focus Cube Habitats, for your support. Really means a lot. And yeah, can't wait to show you guys my new enclosures coming from them here pretty soon. Also, guys, if you're into the high-end ball python game, you got to follow Jersey Guys Balls. Brett and John Towers killing it as well, man. These guys are hardworking father and son duo. Quality in their projects really mean a lot to these guys. And if you follow them on Instagram, you'll see exactly what I'm talking about. And really appreciate all the hard work these guys put into the ball python game. Jersey Guys Balls. Go follow them on Instagram. Subscribe to the YouTube channel. And also be ready for that next episode on Trap Talk with Jersey Guys Balls. All right, man, who's here today, man? Listen, I got to say thank you for all the responses and DMs about this topic on Scrambler. Okay. I tend to go a little hard in the paint sometimes because I'm just a passionate dude. First and foremost, when it comes to talking snakes, you understand this is what I do for a living, right? So my passion compared to most others are second to none, dude. I have a lot of heat inside of me when it comes to these topics. Hear me out real quick before we bring Austin on. Making money in this hobby is a privilege. I really do. And I think there are people in this hobby who fucking prey on others to make money. So anytime I hear a topic, no matter what the species is, okay, I do this in chondros, I've done this in monitors, and I'll definitely do this in ball pythons. When I feel like something just doesn't add up, and we need some sort of evidence to back up pricing, back up anything that you're putting out there. Okay, you say you got a new gene. Well, let's see how you have a new gene. There's boxes that need to be checked, okay? And if you want me to be honest, the amount of boxes checked for Scrambler being its own gene is not looking good. It's not looking good at all. Not going to say it still 100% isn't for a fact its own gene. It's just not looking good. So you understand, guys, I get a lot of slack. I get a lot of heat. I get people telling me, motherfuckers who haven't even been in the game for 2 years, telling me how they have Scrambler popping up in their collection. Well, I kind of find that funny. I really do, especially when a lot of people don't know the origin behind Orange Dream and a lot of other amazing stuff that has been put into people's collections without them knowing, okay? So listen, okay, 2-year fucking veteran in the game, take a step back. Take a seat if you can. Listen to today's episode. Austin is somebody who's been around the block. He's done his homework beyond then, okay? Like, this guy really knows his shit. And that's why I wanted to have Austin on the show today, because, and so did Emilio, because we want to have someone who, again, works the project, but isn't here to blow smoke up your ass. Austin does not blow smoke up people's ass. He says it how it is, just like I do. So that's why I feel like, what better episode can we do on Scrambler than having someone like Austin be a part of it? So without further ado, man, it's my boy Austin, newly branded to Hatch Reptiles. We're going to get going. So guys, do what you got to do to get your mind right, and do what you got to do to stay hydrated for episode 763. Austin, Hatch Reptiles, coming at you on this new Breed on the Block recap episode. hit that like button, get that like extremely smashed on, and let's go.
Good.
You ready for do more in the future? Trap Talk podcasts?
Yes.
Man,
Only Trap Talk. Exclusive.
Yes,
Tell 'em.
exclusive. Oh,
So stop calling us.
Rub the spot, get the club to pop. When I come up with the crop, God love it or not. I'm hot from the hop to the rub the spot, get the club to pop. When I come up with the rub the spot, get the club to pop. When I come up with the rub the spot, get the club to pop. When I come up with the rub the spot, get the club to pop. When I come up with everybody, we do it. Everybody, we do it. Do it. Do it. Do it. Rub the spot, get the club to pop. When I come up with the rub the spot, get the club to pop. When I come up with the rub the spot, get the club to pop. When I come up with the rub the spot, get the club to pop. When I come up.
and we are live, episode 763. Welcome back, Austin.
Thanks for having me, man.
Royal Highness.
You used to be Royal Highness.
It used to be, but god damn it, man, that's how far we go back. You remember that first episode we had together?
Yeah, back at my parents' house, hitting the bong. Yeah.
Saturday morning, it was a set. That's back when I had my international dabs and coffee sessions. Remember that?
Yeah, I remember those.
And what's crazy, and even though you definitely were one of them, but people thought they had to constantly smoke on the show. And some people would lose their train of thought. Some people would be like, oh, I'm so high. And I'm like, dude, you don't need to smoke as much as I do. And god damn it, you smoked every time I smoked. So
Yeah. I've cut back a lot on the smoking
Oh.
recently. Trying to be more professional, you know. But not that smoking is not professional, it's just try to keep
No, I
my
hear
head
you.
right in the game, you know.
yeah, dude, I haven't been, man. Okay, so I quit drinking almost a year ago. And that kind of, thanks, man. That you know, and it was just me, just kind of, you know, I like you said, like I felt like there was things altering my train of thinking and stuff like that, but also smoking, bro. Like I would wake up as early as I would wake up and I would smoke.
Yep.
And for whatever reason, it just became a habit, bro. I would just smoke all day. And I didn't realize like how much that was kind of almost holding me back, you know, like, because you get it, you know, you're chill, but you're almost too chill and you almost don't have that drive that you need to get shit done. And I'm sure you have that feeling now too, now that you're not smoking as much.
Yeah, definitely. I feel more driven, more focused, and most importantly, before, like, sometimes words were hard to grasp. But
Yeah.
Now mental clarity is way better. And
Yeah.
the collection is getting better kept, and things are just running a lot better because of it. And more time as well is the biggest thing. A lot of
Yeah,
time
dude.
smoking.
Yeah, man. You know, again, that was 5 years ago, 6 years ago. And, you know, it's crazy how another 5 years we'll be older.
Yeah. Time just keeps coming.
Yeah. How old are you now?
29.
Oh, shit. You're about to be 30, dog.
Yeah, creeping up on me.
It's all good, bro. 30. I'll tell you what, in 2026, 30 and 40-year-olds are different than when we were little. Like, you know,
Oh, yeah,
when
definitely.
I was little, a 40-year-old were like 50, 60 technically. Like that's how worn down they look. But now it's just different, bro. You know, and I think 30s is like, at least for me, well, I'll say 35 is when I started really like, all right, I need to fucking start manning up and stop being this fucking, you know, hothead child, which I still can be easily sometimes. I'm not gonna lie to you, but you know, you're getting it, man. You're not even 20, you're not even 30 yet, bro. And again, you're somebody, if you heard what I said during the intro, ever since I had you on, no matter how much you were smoking, you were still sharp as fuck. Like you knew your shit, man. And you remember all the times you would help me ID shit? Remember all the time I would send you pictures and you were never like, you know, I never felt like you were too good for me. Like you always gave me your time, dude. And I mean, you're my homie more than that, but I'm just saying, like, you've always given me your time of day, and that's why today's episode really means a lot to me, because I've always fucked with you, Austin. You know that.
Yeah, definitely, man. We're friends. Like, you've been at your house before. You invited me.
Yeah.
I've been out with your family, the Trap Talk dinners and stuff. So it's just like,
Yeah,
definitely close together, man. And like, just
Yeah, dude.
I always try to give my time to people. I usually get too many messages nowadays, so if I don't reply to you, I'm sorry. It comes in like the hundreds. And if you're not in my primary box, because there is on Instagram the primary and the general, it's a little hard to get to you in the general, but the primaries I do try to keep up with, and you're definitely one of those people.
Thanks, man. Yeah, and if you get in that restricted box, good luck. I'll never hear from you ever again.
Yeah.
But dude, I want to talk about obviously your transformation from you know, not only being Royal Highness, but you know, you worked closely with Billy for a while. You guys had that YouTube thing going on, but then you know, you I don't know, about a year ago you switched to Hatch Reptiles. I remember I didn't even know you rebranded yourself, and then I messaged you. I'm like, Austin, is this you? And you're like, yeah, this is me. And I was like, oh shit. And so let's kind of talk about you rebranding and what motivated you to do that and how it's going, and let's get into that.
Well, the major reason was because of the name Royal Highness. It was really associated with like the weed smoking and stuff, Royal Highness, right? And I kind of stepped away from that. I'm not doing it as much, and especially now I'm really barely doing it as much as I used to. I thought it was time to rebrand and just become a more professional name in the game, you know?
Yeah.
Definitely do that.
I like Hatch. You would think Hatch Reptiles would be taken by now, but it wasn't. And I'm like, dude, that's a fucking, I mean, because that's what we do. We hatch out reptiles, right? So it's kind of a simple but yet powerful name to have. And so how long have you thought of the name Hatch Reptiles?
I thought about it like, as I was leaving Mutation Creation. It's almost been like 2 years now since I was there. Maybe a year. It's coming up 2 years this September. And yeah, I was just looking for a new name, and it seemed like all the good names were taken. And then one day it just came to me, Hatch, and I was like, that's what we're doing, right? So yeah, I was very surprised too that it wasn't taken.
I like the logo too. So who got the logo done for you and everything?
I actually did it myself.
You did? Oh
yeah,
shit!
I was using AI, messing around a lot, and it took a lot of trial and error to get it.
Yeah, you know, and what's crazy is like I try to preach this to people, man, because I know how important it is for people to have a logo, like when they're new, like that's the first thing they want to do. But God damn it, man, like you got to be careful. Like, I guess, I don't know. I guess first impressions are pretty heavy in this game when it comes to a logo. And when you have something like with a bunch of animals in it and stuff like that, it's kind of like, oh man, you're not really separating yourself from like hobbyist to like, I'm a professional breeder. You know what I mean? And again, dude, just with what you have, like I can remember that logo just by looking at it. And people need to realize with marketing, if you have a logo, somebody should be able to draw that logo within 10 seconds after seeing it, or at least come close. And that's something I always remembered when somebody put that into my mind. Like when it comes to creating logo, it doesn't have to be something fucking crazy and confusing. You just wanted to leave an imprint in people's minds. And I think you did a great job with that.
Yeah, I took inspiration from McDonald's, the Golden Arches.
Oh, nice.
I watched the Founder movie, and that's kind of where I got the idea for it. So it's very simple, something that you can remember. It's not just black and white too, very plain. And I just thought that it'd be a lot better than my old logo. My old logo, I loved it. It was made by a professional, and I really liked what they did. It's just a little too abstract, you know?
Yeah. And again, you know, I had my first logo, which was literally a trap house. You know what I mean? So we all start somewhere, and it's cool. You know what I mean? But I think, you know, when you want to take this seriously, you should consider evolving seriously. You know what I mean? And I think that's kind of where you're at in your chapter right now. Like you're again, you started off the way you did, but now you're hitting your 30s. You've seen a lot in this game. Are you 10 years in yet? I mean, I feel like you've been in the game for a while.
I started breeding in 2014. So like, I started acquiring ball pythons in 2013, but 2014 is when I first started breeding, and then later in the year I had my first clutch.
Right. Okay. So that makes sense, because you're one of the young ones that started the time you did, and now again, almost in your 30s, and you've seen some shit, haven't you? Like you've seen a bunch of different drops in the market. You've seen ups in the market. You've seen projects fucking completely tank. You've seen projects completely go to the top. So you're aware of a lot of things, dude.
Yeah, and I've seen a lot of trends, and like there's one that I was calling out just during COVID, like the DG clown trend, where DG clowns were at 10K, and then I was telling everyone, hey, like
chill
out. It's gonna drop with the amount of people in it, and I was trying to push ultra male clowns. And if you look at it now, a DG clown you could pick one up for like $400, and an ultra male clown still around $6. So even though ultra male clown was 2K at the time, it retained that value because how much of a niche project it was.
Yeah, and so again, Austin, you know, we're going to talk a lot about certain things on, you know, being in the ball python game, but when it comes to prices, especially something that's highly priced, right? There's a lot of research that should go into that, right? Like, especially if you're new, like let's say you're coming into the game and you're learning and you type in this morph that somebody has a combo of and it's 10, 15, 20,000. How should someone look into that?
First, understanding why it's $10,000 or $15,000. A lot of these, well, nowadays are going to be triple and quad recessive stuff with some codoms in the mix. The market definitely took a dip after COVID. It's kind of resetting itself still, but like it takes years to get these genes into projects, especially triples and quads. And if you're not working on it now for like 5 years in advance, you're going to be left behind. And the people who are making those put those time and that work in, and that's why those prices are so high. Also, rarity of genes. If a gene's like supply and demand, of course, if not many people are working with it, or there's not many people who have it, it's going to be higher priced.
Yeah, and so, and here's the thing, like I know you've dipped your hand in some high price projects, like Monsoon's been your baby for a while now. And I remember, I think it was 3 years ago when you hit the Monsoon Pie, or 2 years ago. How long has it been now?
I think it's 3 years since I hit the first Monsoon Pies.
Yeah. So, you know, with Monsoon, right? Which is still definitely like, it's not what it was 3 years ago. I mean, because everything naturally drops in this game.
Yeah.
But it's still a strong fucking project at this point. Wouldn't you say? Monsoon's doing pretty well.
Yeah, I definitely think it's doing well. And I think the reason why a lot of projects are accelerating at the rate that it is because of shed testing. Shed testing has made like het males more versatile. You can use a triple het male to breed to a bunch of other projects and just shed test now and really go and advance yourself. So that's kind of why I think like Monsoon and a lot of those newer projects have been dropping. And there's those genes like Tornado right now where there's not a test yet and it still has that really high price. But I think when the test comes for them, it's going to be dropping really fast.
Yeah. And listen, there's nothing we could do about shed testing. It's a part of everything we do now.
100%.
The scary thing with shed testing, it speeds everything up. Like there's no more like waiting around. When are we going to see this? When are we going to see that? No, dude, it's going to happen sooner than later. You know what I mean? Which is, you know, I guess for what we do is good. I mean, I don't know. Like I like things that kind of gradually get there, but ball python game has always been like, go, 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 go. And now with shed testing, it's even faster. You know what I mean? But also it is more reassuring that being a buyer, you're buying what you're paying for, but then also being a seller, you're protecting yourself with shed testing. Like there's, you know, you could go a certain route where you don't have to guess. You know, before shed testing, how much guessing was going along? A bunch of
cost sets. Yeah.
Everything was a guess. You know what I mean? And then, you know, we're in a place where how many people who sold fake hets really made up for it when they found out that they were fake? Nobody. You know, I can't say nobody, but hardly anybody ever makes it right when they fuck up like that, you know?
Yeah. A lot of people just took the exit plan and just sold everything, got out because they'd probably go bankrupt if they had to go and pay back all these people, right?
Yeah, you know, but at the end of the day, it's like you almost have to tread carefully when it comes to that. But with shed testing, man, a lot of that, I guess, fear is out the window now. But also with shed testing, let's be real, it's not 100% accurate. I mean, it's pretty accurate, you know what I mean? But it's not always perfect.
Yeah, science is like as good as it gets, but nothing's 100% in this world unless like you've actually produced it and proven the genes out in that snake. And I noticed like some of the genes like RGI, for example, like they have like percentages of like what they think that the test would be positive for, right? Like some are 60, some are higher, like 90s.
Right.
Nothing is ever 100%. So,
and that's something to pay note to, guys. Like again, shed testing is everything that we do now, but it's also not 100% accurate, you know. But at the end of the day, being breeders, we know there's a certain point of proving shit, and that's hatching it out yourself, right?
100%, yeah, just the old-fashioned way. Like before shed testing, there's how many years have we been breeding without shed testing, and a lot of genes have been proven out, a lot of hets have been proven out, and a lot of hets have been not proven out, right? Just like the fake hets have been sold to people. So I think that shed testing is great, but it's not the be-all end-all, you know.
Did you ever have to recover from a mess up, I guess, fake het situation prior to shed testing? Was there ever a time where you took a loss because of that, Austin?
Not really. I like to label my hets as what they are. If they're pos set, I'll just put the percentage that they are. And if they're 100% het, I'll just call it a het. But like I have had to take some losses. Like recently, I sold a snake to Marc Bouchard, selectively bred serpents inside of Montreal, and it actually turned out to be a male. So I gave him a great deal on a female after with some more genes in it. And like you kind of have to be almost like Costco. You know, Costco will take anything back and they'll take the loss always. So,
I love that, dude. That's honestly like, and here's the thing. I know there's certain lines that can't be crossed, especially when you know I guess the buyer's simply trying to take advantage of you. But it's just so much better just to fucking take the animal back and just make it right. And like, and even if that person is full of shit, never do business with that person ever again. Like, get the animal back just to shut them up and give them their refund, and don't sell them a fucking stick after that. That's it. You know what I mean? Because I know a few people in this game who've shot themselves in the foot that way. Like, constantly a pain in the ass for all these other breeders, where you don't think breeders talk to each other and say, hey, are you dealing with this guy? Yeah, I am. Has he put a bunch of animals on hold and did not pay for them? Yeah, he has. Fuck this guy. That's how easy it is. Okay. So as much as sellers get heat for a bunch of shit, customers, dude, they could be a fucking pain in the ass, dude. They really, especially in the ball python game, like full, like, and dude, correct me if I'm wrong, dude. And, you know, obviously we're going to tap into Scrambler, but dude, some of these guys, not even 2 years in the game, you know what I mean? Talking about they found this, that in their collection. And it's okay to be excited, but there's ways around proving this shit out, isn't it? Isn't that right, Austin? And it doesn't happen overnight.
I think a lot of it's wishful thinking. Like they really like hope and they believe they have it, but not everything's always as it seems, right?
Dude, and you even lie to yourself sometimes. I've lied to myself cutting an egg earlier than I should have, and I could have sworn there was hypo in it. I've done that more than once. And what did I do? My big mouth goes to my story saying I hit hypo, and then 4 days goes by and I look at it again, the hypo's gone.
Yeah, especially after that shed. You just see the colors pop.
Yeah, but here's the thing, dude. Like, how many people have been wrong in this hobby, and it's okay to be wrong. Like,
yeah. It's
okay. Like, own up to it and just move forward.
Yeah, like I think making up for your mistakes and owning them is definitely the best thing you could do in this hobby. And there's not enough of that right now. I think there's just a lot of people who are holding on to egos and just not doing the right thing always, you know?
Right, dude. And, you know, another exciting thing about today's episode with you is, like, you know, I want to be very clear on the whole topic of Scrambler. If there is ever a test for Scrambler, you best believe I'm making an apologetic fucking episode about how I didn't believe in it, because that's where I'm at, dude. I don't believe Scrambler is its own gene based off the evidence, based off the box being checked, but I could still be wrong. Like, I could still be wrong. I want to be very clear about that. I'm very, very passionate, very straightforward on how I feel, but I have been wrong before. So I just want to be clear about that.
Yeah, nobody's perfect, man. So that's the thing, right? But owning up to your mistakes is the best thing. And like, I'm not saying that you're wrong right now. I'm not saying that you're right. But I do believe it's a gene. But I don't believe that everyone who says they have Scrambler has Scrambler.
Right.
And, a lot of people are just popping it up in their collection, apparently. And I think that's the case.
That kind of hurts Scrambler, right? By people just imagining that it's in their collection, and they're showing examples of Scrambler, and people like myself and Emilio and other people that are looking at it and saying, that's fucking Orange Dream. That's not Scrambler. It confuses everything else for people like yourself and Antoine who are really working the project. You know what I mean? And then not only that, sending in shed tests. Like if you are sending in shed tests on what you think is Scrambler and it's clearly a line of OD, you're definitely going to fuck up the whole shed testing for Scrambler. And I think that's kind of what's been happening, dude. Not going to lie to you.
Yeah, the water's been muddied really bad. And
super bad.
Like if you didn't get an animal that came from MARC, like I know Mark got his from Aussie, but it doesn't mean any snake you get from Aussie is a possible Scrambler. Like there's like the monsoon stuff. It came from Baker Line Special. He never produced one. He sold it to Tom Green or Dave Green, and he sold it to Billy, and they popped out monsoons, but Baker never did himself. So Aussie could have actually just sold the whole project without knowing.
I mean, it's definitely, and that's like only one example. There's many other examples of projects out there. Like how many times has the Bells done that, you think?
Oh,
like numerous times.
Like
you know what
cryptic.
I mean? Yes, 110%, bro. Like how many times have people, pioneers in this game, just handed something off and they didn't realize they had it?
Too many times. And now with like shed testing, I think that it might even be a little harder at first, because you're shed testing, getting a panel test, of course, and you're saying, oh, there's no other genes in the snake, and you go sell it off to someone, and sometimes just spontaneous genes just pop up, right? And just because you shed tested it doesn't mean that there's no other new genes inside too.
Right. But then also doesn't mean the answer is going to come that quick. Like
no,
there's just a lot of work that needs to be done.
Yeah, you need a big gene pool and a lot of proper shed tests to go and actually get a shed test made, right? Because they actually have to have the gene, and that's what I think is the problem with Scrambler right now. And I know that one of the companies has just stopped trying to get a test for it because how muddy the waters are. But I know Ben is
one of the main guys in America who has Scrambler did not want to shed test. And I asked this guy years ago, are you going to shed test? He looked me dead in the eyes and said, no, I'm not going to shed test. And I walked away with a very confused train of thought. I'm like, well, how's that going to work out? Because you have OD, black pastel, you have all this other stuff in this snake, and you're selling these snakes at thousands and thousands and thousands of dollars, Austin. That's another thing with Scrambler, right? We're going to talk about some hard truth about Scrambler. The pricing situation. I never saw you ever fucking milk a whole Scrambler project and get somebody for thousands. I'm talking like 10, 11, 12K, bro.
Yeah.
Do you think, what do you think of that? Like, what do you think of the whole pricing situation with Scrambler?
I think that some people were definitely milking it a bit. Like if it's not like 100%, you're not 100% sure that you have it, you haven't got it from MARC, and you're claiming you have Scrambler and raising the price to those extremes, it's a little shady. Especially unless you're 100% sure, willing to go and bet your whole collection on it. I would not do that.
No. And let's be real. How have you been working Scrambler? Even before the noise and everything, how have you been working Scrambler in your projects?
So I actually got in how I got into Scrambler. I bought 2 pieds that looked like Enchi pieds. That's what I thought they were at first. The guy didn't think they were Enchi pieds. It came from a male that they bought off MARC. And it was just consistently making higher pattern, really like this uniform look of pieds. And I picked them up, thought they were Enchi. And then the first thing I noticed about them was the borders were a little bit different than an Enchi pied. And usually Enchi pieds have a little more cleaner borders and they don't have like the solid blacks. But these ones did, and that threw me off right away. So this is not Enchi. And I kind of like shelved the project for a bit, used them as just pieds. And then I consistently started making this look of a snake. And these pieds were not attached to Orange Dream at first. That's why the whole high OD thing to me doesn't really make sense. But it does make sense if they never had Scrambler to begin with. And now they're just pawning off their high ODs as Scramblers.
Oh, so you talking about people saying they have high OD, or like, what do you mean by that?
Like people like who are saying they have Scrambler who have high OD and haven't really like separated them yet. That's an issue for me, because
it's gonna be hard. How do you like, I don't get it. Like, and again, dude, I had Nick Mutton on the show, and we're talking about how like if you have to go so far to explain something to somebody, oh, it's not that cool then. If you have to talk more than show pictures and you're there just babbling on why it's that, buddy, you're doing something wrong here. You know what I mean? And I think what we're going to talk about obviously today is like how important isolation is for you in Scrambler, and how you're probably doing your best keeping high OD stuff, other lines of OD away from it, right?
Yeah, actually, I have some Scrambler stuff with OD, but my original stock wasn't attached to OD, and I kept like some of it away, and then some of it has been mixed. But I'm still seeing consistent stuff with both. But there is that argument that you claimed with like everyone had black pastel, orange ring, fire, calico, yellow belly inside of the mix, and that really muddied the water too, because all those genes already have a look to them. Yeah. And Scrambler to me is a really nice enhancing gene.
Right.
But in the single form, it's very subtle. And unless you have it into like a pied. I think inside a pied, it could be very expressive. But inside of the single gene, it's kind of like redhead or any like even yellow belly. It's like a very like soft gene that doesn't do much by itself.
Right. And then not all of them are going to show an example of it, you know, because we're talking about something like a gravel even, right? Like, like think about when people first hatched out gravel that looked like a complete fucking normal snake, like had no idea. I'll never forget that. I'll never forget wanting to get into the highway project or freeway project because of Billy. I'll never forget. Billy was showing so much freeway shit. And I was like looking in my area. And then I remember like a gravel was like $600 or something like that. And I'm like, I'm not gonna buy that normal for $600. And then I found out you put this normal to that normal looking gravel to that normal looking gravel, and you make a super gravel. And I'm like, wait a minute, these two basic ass fucking looking ball pythons made that. And let's be honest, that's another uphill battle for Scramble. It's a subtle gene. If it is a gene, it's very subtle, and you're not going to get answers to the test that fast when it's something subtle. That means a lot of work needs to be done into it.
And you have to be sure that you're sending in proper sheds. That's the most important thing. Like, that's why right now, like, I don't blame Charlie for dropping it, like the shed test for it, because he's getting so many people claiming they have it. And if you don't have an actual gene pool, like, that is guaranteed, the waters are already muddied. So you can't even go and actually pull the gene out, right?
Yeah. And we're talking about you being around since 2014, bro, buying snakes in 2013. A lot of these people who are very outspoken, not everyone, but majority of the people that are outspoken about Scrambler don't even have a decade in the game. Barely, don't even have 5 years in the game. Okay. So how many of these people know the origin of where this snake that they're claiming that has Scrambler even came from, which we all know, if it didn't come from Mark, it came from Ozzy probably. Like the great grandparents, right? And the thing is, Ozzy's the OD pioneer. Like he's the GOAT when it comes to OD. So another uphill battle for Scrambler, that the original Scrambler Mark mandate got came from Ozzy, who is known of working the most insane line of OD, generational lines of OD that they're in the game possible. So that's another huge uphill battle for Scrambler, is who it originally came from.
Yeah. And like, I think that definitely like brings like an argument to the table.
Of course.
But
and what did Ozzy just say on another podcast? And again, it's his opinion. He even said he could be wrong, but him himself, okay, thinks that Scrambler isn't its own gene. So we have everything when we have everything that we're talking about right now as far as uphill battles, and then Ozzy drops that bomb, bro.
No, I saw that. I still don't agree with that. Like, I was actually talking with Mark in person yesterday. There was a show up here, and I went to go, and he was vending, and we talked. He showed me some of his Scrambler stuff, very similar to like what happening with mine, and with no OD attached. And the whole high OD argument, like, there's like, I have a couple of things like to go and debunk it. There's a couple of Scrambler tests that have been done, or people testing Scrambler animals for OD, because I'm in a Scrambler group chat on Instagram, and they're getting negative tests for OD in some of their Scrambler stuff. I know the OD test is not perfect. No test is, but they already get some that already have negatives. Either is false negatives, but that's already supporting the claim a little bit. But I love MORPHMARKET right now. You can go and look at the sold stuff. And Scrambler and Pi does something very like uniform. It's just always the same, especially when you have even adding other genes into it. And if you go and search up high OD pieds, and you can see that a lot of them are not a high pattern. Every Scrambler pied I've made so far is extremely high pattern. And you can see it does bring, like right here, you see it has pattern along the sides that come down from the top of the dorsal. So that's really consistent.
But there's GHI in here too, though, and GHI does that.
Yeah, but not this much. Like if you could find another GHI pie that looks like this, I had 2 GHI scramblers in the clutch, both look identical.
I could show you one right now in my collection that looks like this.
Yeah, but let's see it. Yeah, I would love to, because the pattern on the side, I had someone else say the same thing to me, but when we actually compared them, they were very different.
So this is a GHI. Let me see. Hopefully you guys can see this all right. Okay, so this is a GHI hypopide.
Mm-hmm. Oh, well, hypopide itself is going to change pattern a little bit, but I still see like what you mean, but it's still a little different than what I'm seeing. And if you look at my pied, I still have black borders around where the saddles are, and that's how you know there's no orange dream in there. Orange dream pies do not have black borders around. And intense oranges coming in, especially on the last saddles toward the tail, and even coming up from the belly, that flaming, it's really intense orange. And
put this back. I'm gonna put this back. Keep talking.
Yeah, 100%. And if you go look at other GHI pies, they do have some oranges, but pictures never do justice. In person, this thing is very bright, and I can actually go run over and grab the sibling to this one too, which is even a better example of a Scrambler GHI in my opinion. But they all have black borders.
Right.
So,
and here's the thing, right? Like obviously, and the one thing I'm trying to not put in my mind is that this is actually 100% double het, right? It's 100% double het monsoon clown.
Monsoon pied.
Monsoon.
Well, monsoon, it's 50% of hypo. So it's a pied and it's het monsoon, possible het hypo.
So let's keep it real, dude. How crazy of an influence can a het have?
The monsoon het can have a crazy influence, but I've made many pied het monsoons, and then I have scrambler pied het monsoons, and I can actually go and pull 2 out right now if you want.
Sure.
And they're very different. I just got to run to the hatchling room. So
you're good. And the reason, guys, the reason why I bring up the head influence, right, is because let's say Austin is correct, but we still don't have a test. People could simply argue that the het influence is doing that to the snake. It's not scrambler. So another uphill battle for scrambler are people showing examples of snakes that are 100% double het, triple het, or single het, whatever. And I'll tell you right now, definitely somebody who has learned this from experience. I've had so many snakes I thought were X, Y, and Z, but it was just a het influence after breeding them, which is another key factor on why at the end of the day, no matter how much we see pictures, no matter how much is explained, without a test, it's going to be damn near impossible to ever prove that scrambler is its own gene. Not that there will never be a test, but to Austin's point, how many people are sending in scrambler sheds when they ain't got scrambler? Woo! Let that wrap around your mind for a little bit. I kind of wish maybe only Austin or an Antoine or people with like longevity in this game would only send in shed tests, because somebody said the ball python game as a whole, not that great at record keeping. I don't keep much records. I'm going to be 100% honest with you. I don't really work Dinker projects, but I don't keep feeding charts. I don't no, I ain't got time for that shit. No offense. So the ball python game as a hobby, the record keeping side, not that strong. Okay. Not that organized. Shout out to Clutch. I feel like Clutch is a great organization app that helps you stay on top of that. And I think people should really be organized by having an app like that. And it's never too late to be organized. I'll tell you that right now. I mean, with shed testing, I've gotten a lot more organized with my ball python stuff, a lot more, because, got to be on top of my shed testing, but, good point in the chats. Like, organization skills have not been a strong suit with ball python keeping. And we're kind of seeing that right now with some of the shed tests being turned in to these shed test companies. And people like Charlie are like, well, what the fuck's the point when I'm getting all these shed tests that are either showing OD or something else? But all right, what do you got for us? I'm going to give you the thing, bro.
So here's just a pied het monsoon. I tried finding one that's not in shed right now, but they're all in shed. And you can see the pied does do something to the pattern. The het monsoon does the pied pattern.
What's in this right here, Austin? We'll break down.
pied het monsoon. That's it, 100% het monsoon. And you can see there is an influence on the pattern. It's deep in shed right now. I have like 5 of these, but all of them are in shed right now. And you can just see that it does mess up and whack out the pattern a little bit. What I'm noticing with the het monsoon is that it brings in a lot of dark tones, especially around these little pattern. And then here I have a Scrambler pied het monsoon. And very different looking. All the Scrambler pies that I'm making look exactly like this. And for the argument of Orange Dream being in here, there's no Orange Dream in the clutch. If you look around the borders of the snake, we do got black bordering, and Orange Dreams do not do that. So right away, this is just a Scrambler pied. And me and Mark were talking yesterday. He showed me some pictures of his, and all of his Scrambler pies look very similar. This one might be a little bit more darker in some places from the het monsoon influence, but right away, this is a typical Scrambler pied.
Yeah. And here again, dude, the only thing people could give you pushback on with that snake is that it's het monsoon.
I can pull out some ones that are not het monsoon if you want me to do that too.
Sure. But these are siblings, right?
No, different clutch actually. So this is there was no Scrambler in this clutch at all. And this one had Scrambler in the clutch. And you could just see it's a very different thing. Like the pattern along the sides is floating and dragging across with a really nice like gold and yellow and orange colors coming up from the belly. And then it even has a little bit of a head stamp as well. That's why I guess.
Show that one that's in shed right now. Before you said there was no Scrambler in that, I could have sworn you were going to say there was Scrambler in that. I swear to God.
Oh, that's the het monsoon influence. So the het monsoon does.
Well, there you go. That's what I'm saying. That's what kind of makes this like, you know, whole shit. Like without shed testing, how we ever going to know? Like what you're saying has points, but without shed testing, how do we really know, dude?
Yeah, that's the thing. So people who actually have Scrambler pieds, which look like this, and send them in, if we have enough of them, I believe they're definitely be able to go and formulate a test. But if you're looking at these two snakes, if all my het monsoon pies are very similar to this. They all have this really wacky pattern coming through.
Yeah.
And all the Scrambler pies look like this. Even the ones Mark showed me yesterday on his phone and even at his table, like you just see the difference at what is going on here. Has a very strong stripe down the dorsal, has pattern bleeding down from it, and it's just like floating pattern on the side. Very different than a typical pied.
It's a beautiful snake, dude.
We'll put these back real fast.
You're good. And I'm not joking, guys. Like when he showed that one that's in shed, and clearly it's in shed too. So we don't see if there is any kind of orange kind of enhancing at all with how much that snake's in shed. But again, cool ass looking snakes. You know, I definitely want to mention or bring up to Austin about him hatching out any single gene scramblers, because I don't ever see enough single gene scramblers. Again, we talked about how subtle it is. But why is it so difficult to see so many single gene scramblers? With how long the project's been worked in this hobby, where are they at? So we'll ask.
I'm pulling that out right now.
Oh, here he comes.
So this is from the same clutch again. Oh, these are from the same clutch.
All right,
so these are het monsoons. Okay, in my right hand is a Scrambler het monsoon, and here is just a normal het monsoon. And looking at them, they look pretty similar. But if I put them a little closer, it's not going to pick up too well in the video.
It does. The pattern shows, like, I see what you're saying.
It's also the hues of the snake. Here you can see it a little better. The het monsoon brings a lot of darkness in. This one kind of has more of like a mandarin look to it, where it's a little bit more cleaner and it has a little bit more orange expression on it. I think you can see it like here, right there, a little better. This one has more of that yellow tone. This one has a deeper tone in it. And if you even look at the heads here, this one looks like a typical het monsoon. It's got a little bit of a head stamp with thin eye bands. And then this one has a little bit of, oh, it's got some pee on its head. See if I can wipe that off. Should have checked before.
That was a stuck shed, wasn't it? I don't think it's.
Oh, it was stuck shed. Yeah.
Well said. He pissed on his.
But if you look at them, you can see right away that there's some differences between them, especially in the cleanliness of this snake. So, and the overall color. I don't know how well the color is picking up. I'm going to try to get them side by side so you can see. But this one over here is the Scrambler version, and this one is not. And of course, there's going to be some polymorphism between genes. but you can also see that the colors, and Het Monsoon has been pretty consistent with darkening and whacking out the pattern.
Yeah.
But even though this one is 100% Het Monsoon, you could just see how much more cleaner and uniform it is. And we do got some of that floating pattern, like right over here, starting to come up, but you don't really get any of that like higher floating until you start adding in those genes like Yellow Belly, Orange Dream, Calico. That's when it really takes it up a notch and just blows it out. And yeah,
those are both Het for Monsoon. I'm sorry, or
they're actually clutch mates. So the dad was a pied Het Monsoon, or a Scrambler pied Het Monsoon, and you could just see that they are different. I don't know how well, it's kind of hard to show up to the computer.
It's pretty subtle, but I see what you're saying. Like, you know,
it's
again,
a subtle gene as it by itself. That's like, unless you throw it into pied, that's like pied is really the way to go and bring it out of it, is in my opinion. And it's so subtle enough that some people may overlook it, but if you have an eye for like genes in this game, you can definitely see the differences between the two. Like here again, you kind of see just how much more orange this one is.
Yeah,
I know, like, with the camera, it's always going to go and kind of mess up those colors a little bit. But between these two right here, you could definitely see that the one over here is a little bit more paler on the sides and grayed out, especially with that like patterning, even the flaming coming up. This one is just a lot more uniform and has more of that orange to it. So I'm just going to throw this two back.
Yeah,
actually, I could wait. Ask me a question.
I was gonna say though, 2026. Do you think people want shit settled nowadays? You know what I mean? Like, and not only that, how many people have an eye for this shit, dude? You know what I'm saying? Like, how many people within 5 years of being in this game really have the trained eye? You don't get the trained eye in 5 years.
Yeah, it takes a lot of looking at ball pythons and
a lot, bro. And I hate to fucking keep attacking the ball python community when it comes to this, but dude, how many lazy people do we have in the ball python game?
A lot of people come in with money and they buy their way in. There's nothing wrong with that at all.
Nothing wrong, but then again, like you gotta put in your time. You gotta do the work.
And I remember me when I was like first getting in. I remember when my parents wouldn't even let me have a snake when I was younger, and I had to sneak them in the house. But I used to watch Ralph Davis, Pete Call, Brian Barszczak, and I used to go even Royal Constrictor Designs. I used to go watch their videos and try to like guess the genetics on the snake before they said it. I'd pause the video and test myself over and over, and I was doing that for years. I even do it sometimes still, and it's just like you can always learn more. And like between these two snakes, like you can't really see the difference as well on camera, but in person, I should probably post a picture of this on my story today of these two. Sure. I'll get it with my my DSLR, but you definitely see there's a difference between the two. And even though they're both 100% Het Monsoon, there's definitely differences. They are subtle though, and that's a lot of genes in the single gene form. Like look at Redhead. Like Redhead's a gene that I overlooked, and then when I saw it in Clown, I was like, wow, I really messed up there.
And so that's a good question I want to ask you now, Austin, is, and I'm sure you had your reasons, but why have you been so less is more with showing Scrambler stuff on your page? Like you don't blast it like you do Monsoon or other projects. Why is that?
There's just so much fake Scrambler around, and like that's why I think there is a Scrambler around. And if you did not get it from MARC, or it's not an animal that was produced by a Scrambler animal by MARC, that's going to be a Scrambler. But there is definitely a reaction with Scrambler itself. Like again, like you can see how much more clean this one is. And like I see why people say it's like an Orange Dream, because Orange Dream does do certain aspects, the same thing that the single gene Scrambler does, as well as in combos. Yeah. But just the way that it is by itself, it's like you can't say that it's the same as this. Like the pattern is way different, even like the tones inside. And I'm sure people even look at Mandarin and thought it was fake at first too. But once
hold on, how many fake Mandarins were out there though?
That's the thing. And that's
how many fake laces? How many fake fucking laces? Like, dude, I know a guy. I got to keep careful with what I say, but I know a guy who's had to refund so many people because of the amount of fucking phony laces that he sold.
Yeah, and I think I know the same person.
It's kind of embarrassing, bro, because it's like, dude, I heard about you doing this a year ago, and 2026, you owe 4 people credits for selling them a fake lace. Like, my God, bro.
Yeah, but I think this is going to be like the Mandarin and the lace. Even lace is an energy that I stayed away from because there was a lot of fake lace around. And that's why I feel people are even doing this Scrambler right now, because there is a lot of fake Scrambler around. But
and a lot of talk.
If you go to the source and actually get what is proven, and Mark, he knows what he's doing. He's been working with orange snakes forever, since the early 2000s, even before that. So he's like, even yesterday we were talking and looking at stuff, and like what he's seeing is what I'm seeing. So like we kind of came to the same consensus, but I do think there is a lot of fake Scrambler around right now. And until there is an actual test, a lot of these people got to stop calling their thing Scrambler.
Yeah. Let's cut to commercial. Go and put the snakes away, and we're going to cut to commercial real quick. All right, guys. Hey, hang tight. Quick word from our sponsors. Hit that like button. We'll be right back. Sorry for the interruption, folks, but a quick word from our sponsors. Shout out tonight's sponsor brought to you by ZoomEd.
ZoomEd is proud to be supporting the Trap Talk Reptile Network. At ZoomEd, reptiles are our passion. For over 48 years, we've been creating premium foods, supplies, and habitats for reptiles and other exotic animals. We're a company made up of hobbyists that test our products on the hundreds of animals that we care for here every single day. Whether you're an established breeder or a first-time hobbyist picking up your first ball python, ZoomEd has you covered with everything you need to keep your animals happy and healthy.
I'm excited to talk about this new product with ZoomEd called the Slither Sense. It is a remote temperature and humidifying monitoring system, which we all know how important temperature and humidity is to your reptile. And for you to have remote access to your temperature and your humidity in your reptile room could really, really be a game changer for the longevity of you keeping reptiles. So guys, make sure you check out that product. Find the link in the description below. Click on it right now. Give me your feedback in the comments below. Let me know how you're liking a brand new ZoomEd product. If you're in front of the line, cutting edge, high-end ball python projects, you don't want to miss this. Shout out to Teresa and shout out to Devin over at PRAGUE MORPHs, the heaviest hitters out of Europe, currently in the ball python game. If you're into the double, triple recessives such as puzzle, hypo, and other amazing recessive, incomplete, dominant projects, and make sure you head over to PRAGUE MORPHs right now on Instagram. Check them out on YouTube. You can find all the links in the description below, and many more updates with RGI and PRAGUE MORPHs to come. So again, thank you so much, Devin and Teresa over at PRAGUE MORPHs. Cannot wait for many more collaborations. Shout out to Focus Cube Habitats, the #1 PVC enclosure in the reptile industry, hands down. Everything you guys see behind me are 3x2x2 PVC design enclosures by Steven and Ashley over at Focus Cube Habitats. My entire room at this point, all Focus Cube Habitat enclosures, and that is for a real reason. My reptiles love them. I've had majority of these Focus Cube Habitats behind me for over 6 years now. So guys, if you're looking to expand your reptile room and get yourself some new enclosures, no better place to visit than Focus Cube Habitat. You head over to focuscubehabitats.com and see how many different design enclosures you could choose from. And you can also follow them on Instagram and stay updated with all current new enclosures on their YouTube channel. So thank you so much, Steven and Ashley over at Focus Cube Habitats. And I think I got new enclosures in the driveway, so I gotta go. Shout out to Focus Cube Habitats, you are the best. Shout out to tonight's sponsor, and that is Jersey Guys Balls, father-son duo who are just slaying it in the ball python game. If you're into sunset, if you're into monsoon, if you're into puzzle, this is the page you should be following on Instagram right now. Jersey Guys Balls are invested in some of the highest and most exciting projects in the ball python game today, such as Tornado and many other genes like Cosmos. So again, make sure you go check them out on Instagram. You can also follow them on YouTube, and definitely go give them a follow on MORPHMARKET. You can find all the links in the description below. And again, thank you so much, Brett, and thank you, John, over at Jersey Guys Balls. Shout out to tonight's sponsor, and that is Clutch, the #1 organization app in the ball python game today. Also, tonight's episode is brought to you by KINOVA Reptiles, the biggest world industry leading ball python company in the hobby, in the industry. So excited to announce this partnership with Clutch and KINOVA Reptiles. No name that needs an introduction, as you guys already know. If you're looking to invest with the best, KINOVA Reptiles is the way to go. And again, if you want to be organized, if you want to be ahead of the game, there's no better organization app in the ball python game than Clutch. Thank you so much to the entire Clutch team. Thank you so much, KINOVA and the entire KINOVA Reptile team. Please continue to keep doing what you're doing. Nothing but inspiration, nothing but excitement coming from KINOVA Reptiles and Clutch. And I'm excited to have more information to announce to you guys here in 2026. Thank you so much, Clutch and KINOVA Reptiles. All right, we're back, guys. Smash that like button. And yeah, well, I think we're up to someone's gonna ask you something. Okay, so hold on. So somebody asked in the chats, right? And this is obviously what we need to get to is, you know, you mentioned slightly where Mark originally got his Scrambler stuff, which came from Ozzy, right? Yeah. But at what point was he able to separate Scrambler from OD by the time he realized he had Scrambler? Do you know?
I'm not too sure on the exact date. You're definitely gonna have to have Mark on for that chat. But yesterday when we were chatting, he just started noticing, I think it was like the Super Orange Dream Hypo Pied that he made, and how different it was from other Super Orange Dream Pieds. The pattern of it and the overall look of the expression inside of the pied is kind of, from what I got from the conversation, is what where we started to see that Scrambler was different. And I remember just during COVID or just before COVID, we had a show in Toronto, and there were some other guys. I don't remember exactly who it was right now, but they had some Scrambler stuff on their table, and they said it's a new gene that Mark found in his collection. And right away, we could see that it was something different. And that's like, I didn't know too much about it. I thought it was really orange. I saw the price on it, and I was like, maybe not yet, but maybe in the future.
What was the price on it then? Do you remember?
I think it was like a OD Enchi Yellow Belly Scrambler, and they were asking like $4,000 or $3,500. But at the time, the price for that snake was probably, without Scrambler, would have been closer to like $800.
Okay.
But yeah, and I actually have 2 more Scramblers in my hand right now, and I actually have a photo of when it was the sibling of this. So this is an Orange Dream Yellow Belly Scrambler and Hepide, and she's huge now, an adult, and you can see we're getting that Scrambler pattern where this pattern on the sides is all raised from the belly, and it likes to drag across, and also some really nice expressions of orange. This girl is going into shed right now, so it kind of sucks, but she's well into like over 2,000 grams, and you can see that doesn't look like a normal typical OD yellow belly patterning. Like, it's very stretched, has some really nice colors, and OD yellow bellies at this size, especially over 2,000 grams going into shed, don't look this nice. And I actually have a picture of this one sibling, which I sold a long time ago, and I actually sold it as an Enchi Orange Dream Yellow Belly, thinking that Enchi was still in the clutch from those 2 snakes I originally acquired. And oh, this is horrible. Maybe there you go. If you guys go look at my Instagram, you can see the snake a little bit better.
I can pull it up, dude, if you want.
Oh, perfect. That'd even be better. Yeah, it's really far down. It's from 2020 actually.
Let's see. Hold on.
Yeah, it's pretty far down. There's a couple of. Yeah, I was just taken outside of the old mutation creation facility in the backyard there. I'm just gonna put this female back so you can get a better look at it.
You're good. Let me pull. Oh wait, oh, here it is. Dream Yellow Belly. Okay, so this is pretty sure is the one you showed right now. I think. Is this the one that you just showed, Austin?
It's like a leaves in the background. Yeah, that's the one.
Okay.
And you can see that does not look like an Orange Dream Yellow Belly. And
so go ahead.
And I thought it was Enchi Orange Dream Yellow Belly at first, but turns out there was no Enchi inside of it. Right. And that's even right there, the pie version, that would be sweet, and sprinkle a little Enchi. So someone else thought that there was no Enchi in it as well at the time, especially because
I mean, look at the green eyes too. The eyes look green, so it's like you would clearly think there's Enchi in it, but you know, Enchi could clean up a lot more than that as well.
Yeah, it would have more banding, I think. But
so there is Scrambler or not Scrambler in this?
That's a Scrambler, yeah. That was actually the sibling to the one I just showed. I sold out to someone else in Quebec back in 2020.
you didn't know back then there was Scrambler back then?
No, I was still thinking. I just shelved the project when I first got it, thinking it was Enchi, finding out it wasn't. Right. And I just didn't know what to do with it at that point, so I just started using it as a pied. And then I started making stuff like this. And when I started producing that, that's when I started taking a closer look. I'm like, why am I making so many really nice pieds just from these 2 snakes? Yeah. And then it kind of got thrown throughout my whole collection because I started breeding Monsoon into them, started breeding Clown. And there's even another snake. If you go up on my page a little bit, there's a pied 100% at Clown. And
you know where it's at.
Keep going up. And you can just see how different it looks than a normal pied het Clown. It's a little bit higher. Yeah, maybe it's a little way higher.
I went down pretty low.
Yeah.
Hey, Austin, remember how you used to flip the cups into the tubs?
Oh, those trick shot games, being Lord of Lion.
You were so sick at that. I would sit there like, what the fuck? How do you pull that one off?
Oh, we had a lot of free time, you know. Those
were the days, though, huh?
Maybe I didn't post it actually. Let's see if I can find it on my page real fast.
Because here's another thing too, Austin, right? So the thing with Scrambler is people are claiming it's just a nicer line of OD. So but I'm just saying, like if we were to look at both sides here, a lot of this shit that you're showing looks nicer because when you selectively breed a line, it only gets better with time. And you got to understand how many years has this line been bred? Not that it is a line. I'm just saying, I'm trying to play devil's advocate here. Okay. Cause I don't want to, I'm doing my best not to favor one side because I don't want, here's the thing, Austin, you being my boy, I don't want you to lose. Like in my heart, I want Scrambler to be a thing because you're my boy. And I got other friends. I got other friends that are in the project. I don't want to see my friends lose out. And I don't want to see other people I don't know lose out as well. Like I hope you guys don't think I have a fucking rally campaign back here to tear down Scrambler. I'm just a factual dude, man. Like all I speak on are the fucking facts, right? So if that's the case, or if that's what people are assuming it's a line, clearly a lot of the examples we are looking at are going to be nicer than original looking OD. If that's the case, correct?
But just like that first pied I showed, it has black borders, and OD pieds can't have black borders.
Yeah, so but then it's also het pied though. Like het pieds do some shit to snakes. Like
no, I'm talking about the visual pieds. So the visual pieds I make that are scramblers all have black borders on them, and orange dream pieds do not ever have black borders. And then that argument where the high OD is a thing, that's what I love about Morph Market. You can go back and look at what's sold, and if you go search up high OD pieds, they come out like typical pieds. You got a sporadic pattern, right? You get normal patches on them. Very few of them are going to look like the Scrambler pieds and how consistent the Scrambler pieds are coming across.
Let's look at this one right here, okay? Now this one right here, from what I understand, has no Scrambler in the mix.
Yeah,
right?
that's just a pied double head monsoon lav.
Right, but look what a double het monsoon lav could do to the borders by itself.
100%, but there's still that black color in there. And with the orange dream, you're not going to get any of that. But even just the overall pattern of that snake looks nothing like that Scrambler pied I brought out earlier. Like it just has a certain look to it. And then here's another Scrambler animal I have right here. And it'd be really hard to go and just find an orange dream combo that looks exactly like this, with the pattern once again being raised up the sides so much like it is here. And just like you can actually see some of that brown or oranges underneath the pattern, and it's just dragged and raised across the whole snake. The snake does have a couple of genes in it, and it is a het pied, which can drag pattern, but het pieds don't drag pattern like this though, right? Yeah, all the way across.
And again, you would know better than I would, Austin. Like my first and foremost, ball pythons are not my strong suit. You know, I love them. They're what got me in the game, but I'm a chondro emerald fucking fanatic. That's what keeps me out of bed. But I do pay attention. I do watch, and I've talked about ball pythons for over 6 years now. That's why also I do want to take a step back myself, chill out, okay, and just let people know I could be fucking wrong here, okay? And again, if I'm wrong, I hope I'm wrong to my boy right here. If anything, I don't want somebody like you or anyone else I respect in the game to take a loss, first and foremost. But how much? Here's another thing, right? Let's say we never get a Scrambler test, okay? The animals are still beautiful. Like, working it is still worth it, okay?
Definitely.
The only balloon that's popped here are the motherfuckers trying to cash out like a fucking greedy pig, okay? And those are the ones who are really concerned right now. You're not concerned, Austin. What's crazy is you're not pressing me. You're not pressing anyone else. You're not concerned because guess what? You don't have a guilty conscience. I feel like there's some people out there who deliberately took advantage of other people over Scrambler. Am I wrong or right?
There probably is. Like, I can't say 100% yes or 100% no. I hope that everyone who thinks they have Scrambler truly believes it and doesn't want to go and just make $1 off someone like that red ball that happened a couple of years back, like 7-8 years ago.
Yeah.
And like, that was a shit show, right? So I'd hope that's not the case with everyone with the Scrambler gene. But once again, if you didn't get Scrambler from the source, or at least an animal produced, like it's not an animal that was originally produced by MARC from that line, it's really hard to say that you have Scrambler, and especially like justifying the prices people are charging. And that's the thing with Scrambler for me. I don't charge those prices for Scrambler. That's another reason why I have more of a...
Neither does Antoine, and neither do other people who are just working it for the sole reason because they like the project. It's not about the money. My problem are the people who are making it about the money, bro.
And I feel like that's a lot of people in the States. Like in Canada as much. Like I don't see it as much up here. There's a couple of people, like smaller breeders, who are asking those prices for the Scrambler. I do believe a few of them do have the scrambler things, but without the shed test, you can't 100% be sure. But there is a visual aspect, and like just like before, there was no shed test for X amount of years, right? And all those years we got pretty good. Like, of course, there was the wrong ID and stuff, but if there is a shed test coming out and it proves that you didn't, you guys better be ready to go and pay back. So like if you're charging those prices, that's what I'm thinking.
Right. And again, and that's probably why you never went that route, right? Because you knew you weren't 100% you didn't know for sure.
At first I didn't, but now I do with the certain things, and I'm just pretty much holding on to most of my scrambler stuff, especially with the monsoon project. I'll quickly pull up the monsoon, or actually you could probably pull up that picture I posted of it, the monsoon pied. Oh, and I love the colors on the monsoon pied.
That's fucking nuts. Yeah. So again, look at the orange that monsoon's doing in this fucking snake, okay? Because it's fucking baller. Let me pull this up. And I like it because it's not a fucking high white. Like it's if anything, it's mid, you know, it's mid to low. It's fucking sick. This is my ideal pied right here. Yeah. I love that shit. But go ahead.
No scrambler in the mix for this pied whatsoever, but that's something I'm looking forward to getting into here. Like scrambler pieds are consistently higher pattern, like Enchi pieds. That's something that I would want my monsoon pieds to look like, right? So right now I'm being really selective with what I put scrambler to, and mostly it's going to be into, like, I made some Enchi scrambler pied het monsoons, some orange dream scrambler pied het monsoons and stuff. And all those I'm working, just growing up and just trying to go and make this snake look better that way. Because I think even if scrambler all it does is just makes it higher white and just brings in some more oranges, which is a great thing in my opinion, I think that monsoon, it would reflect really well onto the monsoon pied.
Yeah. I mean, there's nothing but spectacular is what you could take away from this snake, bro. Like this right here shows you've been putting in work, Austin. This is fucking a banger, buddy.
Yeah. When I made the first monsoon pies, they've all had pastel in them. The first two I made.
I remember.
Actually,
I remember, dude. You were kind of pissed.
Yeah, I made 4 monsoon pies. The first 2 I made were pastel and a pastel phantom. The pastel phantom's actually breeding right now, and she's actually going to an pie double het ultramo monsoon. So trying to get ultramo in the mix and to see what that would do to the colors, and I would like to see purples in there as well, right? But
what's the 100% genetics on this snake right here that we're looking? It's what?
It's a monsoon pied 50% het hypo.
Okay, so you haven't got it tested for hypo yet?
No, like shed testing up here is a little different. I wish we had panel tests.
Right. Yeah.
So there's still some things that I prove out the old way. Still, I do like the guessing game in it, and like it's kind of like Christmas when you do have that like 50% het that proves out, and it's like I really like that aspect of breeding. So there is some things that I get shed tested, and there's other things that I just rather go, especially my holdbacks. Like I already know it's monsoon pied, so if it just proves out hypo to some of the triple hets I have, that'd be sweet, right? So
honestly, bro, that's kind of what makes this so exciting. Like as much as like I appreciate shed testing, it took away the whole Christmas feeling effect where oh my god, my guesses were right.
Yeah,
but also imagine if you could save yourself 2-3 years raising something that isn't, and you're like, thank God, like get the fuck out of here. You know what I mean? But you know, you win some, you lose some. You know, it's kind of like it's all. And if you're not in a dire need of the space, like if you could afford to hold it back and be wrong, then where's the skin off your ass? Who cares?
Yeah. Not a lot of people can have collections with like 1,000 snakes like I have, and that's like they don't have the space, or like they're limited by like bylaws or other even like illnesses or like conditions they have. They can't take care of that many snakes, or they have a full-time job. I'm lucky enough that this is my full-time job, and like when we purchased this house, me and my girlfriend, we had to make sure that we can have the room for my collection as well as her collection, and just get everything across. A lot of people aren't set up that way, so if you're not, shed testing is definitely better for you guys. Like, I wouldn't go and guess with the pos het game at that point, but there is times where I shot myself in the foot. There's like a 2-year hiatus where I didn't make any monsoons, and that's because the males I was breeding, I could have sworn they were hets, but now I have a better idea of what the hets look like, even if it's not tested or 100%. But back then we were still going off certain looks and trial and error, and I definitely had
markers and whatnot.
Yeah, I definitely had some errors on some markers with some other genes in the mix, because adding one gene can really take away that het monsoon look or alter it.
Yeah, and that's another. We got to also look at this too, guys. Not everything has a het influence. I have had what I thought were het pied. No, I'm sorry. I thought I didn't have het pieds because they didn't have the belly marks. They didn't have the tracking on the bottom. They had no ringer, no sign of anything, but they still came back het pied. Yeah. So it's dangerous. As fun as it is, it's also dangerous to play the guessing game, because not everything is set in stone. It's not a textbook 101. Oh, look at the het marker. Okay, it's a het. Sometimes het markers aren't even hets. You know what I'm saying?
And you might sell an animal you wish you didn't that way, right? Because the markers weren't there, or they were there, and you asked a little bit more for that pos het. That's why I think asking more for certain pos hets are okay, but if it's not like a het monsoon where you can almost visually see it, raising the price of that pos het now with the shed test, just get quit shed tested.
Yeah. And again, man, like if you do this long enough, regardless of shed testing, you're going to want to believe your eyes. Like if you see something, you see something. And that goes for like way beyond Scrambler, anything. Like if you hatch something out and if you see something unique, you shouldn't sell that snake first and foremost. Okay. But you also shouldn't jump to Instagram saying, I got a new gene. Guys, fucking look at me, dude. I got the fucking the magical new gene. Like it just doesn't work like that. Not saying that you can't, but it takes years, bro. Like it takes years. Like we're talking something Mark found in 2012, or when was this?
I'm not too sure exactly what year, but I remember the first years he started doing it was like late like 2019, 2020, like around there is when I started seeing the Scrambler stuff come out of like Mark's collection. And
Mark is a pioneer, dude. Like again, like he's somebody, as soon as I was tapping into Canada, like I found out how important and how special Mark Mandic was because of Brian Barczyk. Like he put me on game. So you got somebody, and I feel like that's one thing Scrambler has going for them is somebody like Mark Mandic. You know what I mean? Somebody who I feel like is coming from the heart, like I don't see Mark as a greedy money person. I feel like who we put Scrambler's hands into, different story, but that wasn't Mark. Like once somebody sells a snake to somebody, he has no control over that. It's out of his hands. You know what I mean? So
you can't know what's going to happen, right? If you're just selling a snake to someone, right? So it's like, I don't think Mark did anything intentionally that way, or even like the other person might have not done anything intentionally either. But
right.
We don't have a lie detector test anywhere, right? So.
And okay, so I have a couple more points here with Scrambler, right? Like so far, my favorite Scrambler combos that I've seen, okay, if it is Scrambler, has OD in the mix. So I feel like to really get the full potential of Scrambler, you have to have OD in the mix. Like if you want that pop with pattern, if you want everything, you're almost a fool not putting OD in it, because that's what brings everything to life, right?
I'd say the same thing. Like there's definitely like a reaction that happens with certain genes, like even like GHI Mojave were made for each other, it seems like.
That's a good example right there. Fucking bread and butter right there, dude.
Like GHI is amazing by itself. It's a very it's not a subtle gene whatsoever, right? But finding that reaction with the Mojave is definitely what like amplified it and pushed it to the heights that GHI is right now. And Scrambler being a very subtle gene by itself can put it at a disadvantage until we find out what works best with it. That's why I like looking at it inside of the pieds. There's a very uniform thing that happens with all the Scrambler pies. It doesn't really matter what gene you put into it. They're usually higher pattern, very high pattern. Like every Scrambler pie I've made, they all come with this one look. And then the pies that I came from Scrambler clutches that are lower pattern, they're not reproducing that look when I breed them. So that's why like I believe it is genetic. And from what I've been seeing, what Mark's been seeing, and even what Mark compared with me yesterday. And there's even another GHI pied other than the one that you showed. I just pull out right over here right now.
Shout out there, one in the chats, man. Hit that like button, please. And if anyone has questions to what we're talking about, if there's anything standing out, either if you're pro Scrambler or not pro Scrambler, give us the questions, dude. We're all here for it. All right, what are we looking at here, Austin?
This is actually a sibling to the one that was on my Instagram. So this is one that I didn't post. But once again, GHI pies usually don't have this much intense orange, or at least at this age. So this one probably reaching like the 300 to 250 gram mark. And
is it het for anything else?
It is het monsoon again, but other GHI pied het monsoons have been made, and even by me. I have some that without Scrambler in it. No longer have them right now. I just kept the Scrambler ones because Scrambler is something I'd like to work into the monsoon pied. But again, we're seeing that same thing with the pattern coming down from the dorsal with that really clean dorsal line, and then just floating pattern along the side. And it's just very different than a typical GHI pied. So GHI pieds can vary, but all the ones with the Scrambler that I've been making all look like this, all high pattern and very low white with really intense oranges coming up from the belly as well as around the saddles. And once again, orange dream pieds cannot have these blacks. So that's like something that I've noticed different with the Scrambler versus just a normal pied. And I think Scrambler, just like GHI Mojave, I think Scrambler was definitely made for orange dream, but as well as made for pied. And I know
that's such a nice looking snake. You know what I mean? As far as like what you're describing right now, like I get why you are the way you are with this project, Austin. And it's another reason why I brought you on, because I don't think you're here to waste your own time. I'll tell you that much.
Oh yeah, definitely.
And I feel like if you really felt Scrambler was a scam, you wouldn't even be on this podcast right now describing it.
No. I wouldn't, but
you would save your breath. You know what I mean?
Definitely. Like I usually keep my opinion to myself a lot of times. Maybe in the past I haven't, but like especially with the Stranger, I messed up a Stranger. I thought Stranger was the same as Mahogany, and I was like one of those people like shouting it almost. And when I was proven wrong right away, I stopped it right away. I told people who I was telling them, hey, you know what, you were right working with that gene. I might not have done it publicly. Maybe I should have, but with this gene, like I bit my tongue for a while and I waited to go see and look at what I had and stuff. Just like I have a Dinker gene right now that only very few people have shown. I'll show it on the podcast today. I just named it recently. And
shit, new name. But I you know what? I have faith in Austin's name capability. So I'm excited to see what this hold on. First, let's look at it and then tell us what you named it, okay?
Yeah, I'll go put this one back and I'll just go to the hashing room real fast and grab two of the examples I have.
All right, man. Shout out to people in the chats, man. Again, again, guys, and this goes to anyone out there who's been offended by my take on Scrambler. I know how I can get, but at the end of the day, I got people like Austin. I got really good homies in this game who work it. So, and you know, everyone, first and foremost, if you believe in something, dude, fuck what I say, fuck what anybody has to say. You do you. This is a game where you do you, okay? And Austin's one of those people who just does him, and that's what it's about. All right, let's check this out, dude.
Going through doing myself, not in that way, of course, but
whoa,
yeah, I just the word I could have picked better words for that, but
you could.
When I first made the pastel monsoon pieds, I remember one of the biggest. I'm not gonna say names, but some of the big breeders all looked at me. It's a pinstripe pied. Now I know not to put monsoon into pied, but I think with that last snake that I made, I kind of put my money where my mouth is and showed that monsoon definitely has a place in pied. And that's just what you have to do. Like if you really believe in something, put the time and the effort in. You don't have to go and like, let's say, argue with people online, because arguments, it can make you look like a bad guy sometimes too, right? So it's just
again, and that's why I wanted, you know, to have you on. I know how I can get and how I can beat at people. They just hear all this fucking like me going in, but I want to pull the reins back a little bit and just say like, this is just my opinion. Like how many times you've heard how many times people heard me shit on Sunset, and then now I compliment Sunset. You know what I'm saying?
Same way. I was the same way. As soon as I saw Ultramel in it, I was like, okay, I was wrong.
Yeah, no shit.
But
go ahead.
Here is so this is Mojave with the gene in it. And there's no hypo in this. This is het hypo. The sheds do come out with pattern on it. So, and there is some darker colors, but you're seeing this snake has some pretty, it's harder to see in person. In person, it's a lot different. I'm actually going to probably post this on my story today after this, but looking at this, it looks very different than a typical Mojave coloration. And basically,
yeah, that looks unique.
And then here we have the Enchi Mojave version. And I came up with the name for these as Gray Flame because I noticed they have this gray flaming coming up the sides, as well as these rust tones on the dorsal.
Both snakes too, right? Yeah, I see them.
These and the other ones that I've produced as well all have very similar things going on. And the Gray Flame is like the real like the most notable phenotype that I'm seeing on them. And then of course it just has some really nice reds and oranges coming up on the dorsal. But the gray flaming is like the thing that really pointed me towards it. And I know the camera's not picking it up too much. This camera, like I'm using my Mac right now. It really likes to amplify like the colors. Yeah, but in person, these guys are very different looking than what you're seeing now. And they both have that gray flame coming up. These are both siblings. It's something that popped up inside of my monsoon stuff, actually. And I think it was from one of the pairings I did with one of these wacky snakes I bought off of a Kijiji, which is like the Canadian Craigslist. And I was looking for like people, because we had monsoon up here forever. And it's been around since like 2012 up here. And Billy was first selling them. He just made some wacky stuff. He didn't know what it was. If you watch Justin's first video when he comes up to Canada and goes and tours Billy's old facility, he shows a leopard special. And Justin was just in awe with that snake. And it comes out that that was actually a leopard special het monsoon. And that's why it looks so different. So I used to go on Kijiji and try to find het monsoons that people didn't know were het monsoons. And I started breeding them back to actual het monsoons, and a lot of them did not prove out, but this gene seemed to come out of it. And I really wish you guys, oh, there's a little better. You can see the colors a little better.
You made these, right, Austin? You made.
Oh yeah, these are the ones I produced. I've had older ones too. I actually have some breeders now that I didn't know they were great flame. I just thought they were like very exceptional examples with like higher reds in the dorsal and weird flaming coming up. And now that I finally like got it to like where I'm seeing it consistently in babies, like if you can see like right over here, like those tones in that color, but it seems if I bring it further away,
I mean, I can see it from further, to be honest.
Yeah, it looks better.
I can definitely see the gray flaming, not like Cosmo white flame.
no, that's the kind of like, I was kind of like a little scared to even bring out the name because I came out great flame, great
funny.
Flame, but when poor white flame came out, and I was like, oh no, like this might make my project look a little, or discredit my project.
Not because they're trying to change that now. Now they don't want to call it white flame because that's not what it does. That's a Cosmo.
Please take that away because I do not like that name. But this actually brings in great flaming, as you can see, and then it like in the flaming comes up pretty high as well, and it goes as well as it brings in these nice orange tones because Mojave Enchis don't look like this typically. Even with the het monsoon on top, I produced many, and it's just what I'm seeing. I'm not letting anything go. I have let some go in the past, regrettably, but I don't know if a lot of those people are even in the game anymore. So hopefully, fingers crossed, no one else is working with it at the moment. But I am going to let a couple people, close friends go and tamper with it because I don't have every gene. And I think having other people working a gene with you is definitely a way to advance a project and see if it actually is something. But I'm pretty excited for this project right now because it's definitely different and almost has like a hypo aspect to it. And I think that the camera on my Mac is really making it look more hypo than it should. But in person, there's a lot of dark tones in here and just the overall gray flaming. I'm actually going to pop this on my story right now. I'll do it after so I can get a proper photo of it. I'll send you a photo if you can go pop that up on Instagram on the screen here right now.
Yeah.
I'll just send it to you on thing.
But I'm excited for you, man. That's some, again, like for what we do, you're going to want to focus and pay attention to something that you feel like you have that it works. You know what I mean? But again, it's not like you put it on Morph Market and fucking blasted it out to the whole world that, hey, come buy this new gene for me and give me $10,000. I'll hook it up. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I'm not doing that. And that's something I think Mark did too with the Scrambler. I don't think he just found it right away and started pushing it. I think that he did do his due diligence with it and started working it before he sold it. Because what he
was so humble about it, dude. I remember Mark mentioned Scrambler on my podcast. One of the very first episodes I ever had him on, he was talking about Scrambler, but he wasn't pushing this big agenda. Like, Mark has there's the MJ Exantic. There's a few other stuff that he has spotted and, worked out, but like, he's not overbearing with it. Yeah. And you're right, dude. Like it got out of control in the States. Like once it got here at the Tinleys and other shows, it became a whole nother level. And then what happens is the people spending this money also took it to a whole nother level. They also bought the hype. Okay. Because that's exactly what it was. That was too much money for that fucking animal.
Yeah, some people were price gouging, And
Yeah, dude.
and when you pay a certain price point for an animal, not only are you like attached to the animal because you have it, you're emotionally attached to it at that price as well.
And what does money do to your emotions? Skyrocket.
Yeah, they get heightened. Yeah, and when people don't like, money is no joke, right? It's people's livelihoods.
No shit.
And,
I get it. I get it.
If you get scammed on a morph, like it does not feel good ever. And I've been scammed with fake hets in the past, and like genes that weren't there. That's why I was so reluctant in getting lace and even Mandarin at first. And now that I have Mandarin and our Mandarin that actually came, but I didn't buy it from Tufati. I always pronounce it.
Tufati. Are you talking about?
I always pronounce his name wrong. Tufati. I didn't buy it from him, but the animals I got came from his line, and I could trace that back. That's something that I was really adamant about because I didn't want to go and just get the fake Mandarin or the people who call Mandarin without the NR in front of it. I want to have that NR line Mandarin.
But what happened? Well, what happened? We ended up coming out with a Mandarin test, right?
And there we go.
Somebody's making a claim. Well, there's all these genes that don't have tests. Not yet. Hello, not yet. But eventually, we will have a test. And Scrambler has been around for a hot minute. Which, again, going back to the guy I spoke to originally had it in America, he refused to turn in sheds. Okay, that's a red fucking flag in my book, first and foremost. But then now, when people started turning in sheds, how many of the sheds were actually Scrambler?
But because of that, I believe it's because too many people are just
fucking it up,
inventing Scrambler in their collection. Like maybe they truly believe it because they're seeing some aspects of the Scrambler, what Scrambler does in their snakes.
Yeah,
but a lot of it does not look like Scrambler, and it's even hard. It's hard to tell them it's not Scrambler, right?
The thing is, how many people like you could show this example? Not many, dude. Everyone who has an example to show, there's OD in the mix. There's something else where it's like, well, dude, how can we really know? This is the best example I've seen personally of what Scrambler could possibly do. And that's a fact.
I think your next guest should be a Mark on this topic. Because Mark, he can blow me out of the water with what he has of a Scrambler, even just single gene pieds. I remember he pulled up one to me and my girlfriend yesterday, and she didn't even think it was a pied because how low white it was.
Right.
But it had that same uniform Scrambler pattern going through it. And right away, I'm like, that's a Scrambler pied. And my girlfriend's like, that's not a pied. And I was like, and Mark's like, yep, Scrambler pied. And like, even though my girlfriend's really good at IDing, she's got a lot, she doesn't have as much experience as someone as Mark, or else like even me, I've been over 10 years.
A lot of people do, bro. Like, I mean, even you, that's what I'm saying. Like a lot of the loudmouths, especially in my DMs, I'm like, dude, okay, fucking 4 years in the game. Like, take a couple steps back a little bit, first and foremost. But somebody like you and Mark, bro, we're talking longevity here. And that's another reason why this episode is very important to the whole project, is because somebody like you has substance behind Scrambler. And that's what matters.
No, 100%. And like, that's the thing. If you don't have the experience with it, especially like years with it, I got the Scrambler stuff like 6-7 years ago. And at first I didn't notice it at all, but now that I've had time to work with it, singled it out with the pieds and without the pied, I can definitely see what Mark is talking about. And to the untrained eye, it's like, you're not good. Like if you look at different shepherds, like in dogs, right? So some people might see like a Belgian shepherd and think it's a German shepherd.
Yeah.
Right. But if you don't know like the size difference, the subtle difference in the coat, the face colors, you're not going to know that it's a different shepherd because they just look like shepherds.
Yeah. And it's like chondros, bro. I could look at an adult chondro and tell you if it was a yellow neonate or a red neonate. And again, that takes a few years to kind of see those markings and see what we're looking at. Some of that stuff is hard to ID too. I've been wrong before, but I'm pretty fucking accurate. You know what I'm saying? And that just takes time. And again, dude, even somebody with your experience and Mark's, you guys aren't that outspoken about Scrambler. You're waiting. You're so patiently just working it, and not getting ahead of yourself. And what's crazy is the loudest ones in the game about Scrambler, they don't have much substance in the game, dude. And that's another problem with Scrambler, is the fucking loudest mouths aren't even the longevity of the hobby working this project.
Yeah, a lot of people talking like this is not even their bread and butter, right? This is like maybe like a side hobby they're doing. And like for like me, this is like my livelihood. So if I I don't want to misspeak or just come talking out of my ass, So.
And again, dude, I talk out of my ass all the time. I'll admit it. Like there's things that I just say, because I say, but if I'm wrong, I come to the fucking table like a man and say I fucked up, and I laugh it off, because at the end of the day, dude, these are my opinions, just the same way that this is your opinion. And nobody knows for sure until we get a fucking test, bro.
Yeah.
That's what it comes down to. I don't care what anyone says. If you ain't got a test, you ain't got shit. That's a fact.
Yeah. And like the thing is, like, what I'm seeing, it's genetic. Like it's passing on through the babies, and the babies that don't have it are not passing it. So that's the reason why I have the stance I do. And maybe other people who don't, maybe they haven't seen enough of it in person, or they've seen too much of the wrong stuff. And that's like, that can really be a possibility. Yeah. Like
that could be a huge possibility. A lot of wrong IDing, okay, which is very possible to happen to somebody who's not been in the game for at least a decade. I mean, there's even people who've been in the game that long that fuck up ID sometimes.
Yeah, like no one's perfect. That's the thing. And like, I'm not saying that I'm 100% right here, but like, I'm pretty certain what I'm seeing is genetic, just based off the evidence I have. And like Mark coming to the same, he had his conclusion before I did. I came to the same conclusion he did. And it's looking very similar across the board. So so a lot of people I think should just maybe work, like we're snake breeders. At the end of the day, the snakes do everything. That's the thing. Like I clean snakes all day. That's all I do. Like I clean snakes. I put one male with one female. I think something cool is gonna come out of it. That's all I do. And like, you know what? I get lucky. I hit the odds sometimes. I miss the odds, but the snakes do everything really. We're just purchasing them and putting them together. But I think a lot of people should just keep breeding. And
yes,
that's the thing.
And again, dude, like, just harness that excitement as much as you can. Like, I get it, but when you don't have shit to really prove it, you gotta wait. You have no choice but to hear people like me and other people talk about it until you could prove it. That's it. Go ahead.
Even with this stuff, like, I think I might even be showing this a little too early, because I only have.
I appreciate it. Thank you. And I'm down with the name Gray Flame. I'll tell you that much. That's cool.
I'll post a picture on my story later, but you're never going to see these for sale for a while, probably like 3 more years, until I see there's a super. I'm breeding for supers right now. Actually, they were paired. I just unpaired them last night, but you can't just jump on a project. There's a couple of projects, like there's one I'll talk on because the guy's not in it anymore, but Centauri. Like Centauri was a gene that like I did not see what he saw, and to come out as hard as he did with it, like I don't like calling people out as much, but like you have to be certain with what you have. And like right now, this is still just a dinker project. This is something I'm seeing. It's not concrete yet. It's proving to be genetic, but you know what? I could be wrong at the end of the day. So that's why, like, putting the work in, and I think Mark did do his due diligence and put enough work in that he can say that what he has is Scrambler. But the people who are buying stuff from, like, or just saying, oh, it's popping up in my collection. If you don't have animals from Mark that came from that line, reevaluate it.
And that's what it comes down to, you know, or do what you're doing. Put it in something where you feel like it's mostly isolated on its own, and people can't say, well, it's Orange Dream doing that.
Yeah,
okay.
That's the thing.
95% of the Scrambler combos out there have Orange Dream and something else in the mix, which those look cool. I'm not going to lie. Like the shit that Antoine pulled up last week, I was like, God damn, that's pretty nice. But again, like, we don't know that if that just isn't showing a really nice line of a certain OD that's in that snake. You know, I'm just saying, in the back of my head, it could be a possibility, just like I could possibly be wrong, you know? And again, dude, there's fucking so many people who are so certain, and I get it. Cool to be certain, but you better back all that shit up when it's uncertain. You got people telling me I better be sorry, which the last person who told me I was going to be sorry about Scrambler being an own gene, they're no longer in the hobby, okay? So if you want to be one of those fucking people, bring it on, and then you can see yourself out pretty quickly. But I'm just saying, it goes both ways. One could be right, one could be wrong. That's all that matters.
You're not right till you're right, right? So that's the thing. So right now with Scrambler, like, I see what Mark's saying. I believe what Mark's saying, but I don't see what everyone is saying. That's the thing here. And that's why I think that the muddiness in the water, we just need clarity. That's what we need. We need crystal clear water. We need Mark to send in shed tests, people who have it single, like isolated in single genes, to go send those shed tests. And even the supers, we need those sent in, because without those, we're never going to go and get a proper like shed tests for it. And everyone who thinks they have it, maybe hold off on sending your shed tests in if you're not certain, and maybe wait till, if you don't think Orange Dream's in that snake, first test for the OD. See if there is OD, right? And then if it doesn't come back for OD, then like, okay, then this is something that helps my argument. So I'm going to send this in as a Scrambler shed or potential Scrambler shed.
Yeah. And again, dude, it all matters on the time. You know what I mean? Time will tell. Just like anything else in this fucking world, time will tell. And I don't know, man. Like, so let me ask you this, Austin. How much legs does a project have without shed testing? Like without this shed testing period, like, like let's say like we can't get an answer. We don't know year after year after year. How much legs does a project really have, you think?
Yeah, it's hard to argue after, but like with this one, it's kind of unique because of the way that it's being dealt with. But like, let's say we weren't talking about,
and they look nice.
Yeah, they look nice. But let's say we weren't talking about Scrambler here, and let's go use the Centauri gene, and it gets panel tested, and it turns out to be nothing that we already have a test on, but they cannot never find an isolating gene for that Centauri. I think that it's safe to say that that might not be a gene, or it's just like a line, or maybe a polymorphic thing, which a lot of people thought Scrambler was at first, but I definitely don't think that's the case with it. And like from what I'm seeing, what MARC has, and like what some other breeders out in Canada have been doing, which came from MARC, like I'm pretty safe to say that like from what I'm seeing, it is a gene. But I can see why a lot of people are skeptical, especially in the States, because with you guys, you don't have the same access to Scramblers like we do up here. And it's just like,
that's the case. I mean, that's, and only because Ozzy handed it off, you know what I mean? But then again, how much of the stuff that Ozzy have could possibly be Scrambler and he doesn't know it? Probably a lot.
It could be a potential, but even with the way that Ozzy even got Orange Dream, it was passed on to him as nothing.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, they didn't either.
What do you think of this? Okay. And this is another reason why sometimes I'm like, who the fuck is this guy talking? But after Ozzy said what he said, somebody had the nerve to say that Ozzy's just too lazy to find out and work it. And that's why he said that. Ozzy Boyd's being too lazy. Okay. Let's think about that right now. One of the fucking best businessmen that this hobby's ever seen in its entire life being called too lazy. How the fuck do you think that's making these idiots look, bro?
I think people are just ignorant to what they're saying.
Keep digging your fucking grave, dude. That I couldn't believe I saw that screenshot of somebody calling Ozzy just too lazy, and that's why he said what he said.
If you're calling Ozzy lazy, he's the one who put the work in to make Orange Dream what it was. So
I'm sorry, dude, but that doesn't that doesn't help Scrambler when you have these Scrambler fucking advocates. Which I'm not saying you don't have it, but dude, hold on, you just called Ozzy lazy.
Yeah, I don't know who said that, but like maybe they just don't know the history of like what Ozzy went through with Orange Dream. So like, just like Ozzy, I'm pretty sure he got it like a freebie, the Orange Dream snake. Someone just gave it to him because they didn't think it was anything, and he put the work in to establish it, made the supers, and put it into the pies. I remember the first Orange Dream pies that came out; those were insane. Even the first, when he put it into Spider, I know Mark Mandic was working it into Spider too, and he made those super Orange Dream Spider combos back in like the mid 2000 teens, and like they were mind blowing. And like anyone at that point to go and say that it wasn't a gene, you don't have an argument at all. And I think that just more people have to go and humble themselves a little bit and really make sure that they have it before they talk.
Say it one more time.
Yeah, they have to go and be reputable with their words, really, you know.
No, they say that exact last sentence. You really got to prove that you have it
before you and like prove that you have it and that it came from the line. Because if you're just popping it out, because if you just say that you have Scrambler and you're just thinking it because you have a more orange snake that has Orange Dream in it, you might just have high OD. High OD is a thing. It's a better expression. But
so it's like I'm not wrong, but I'm not right. But I'm also a little bit right and also a little bit wrong. I could be wrong, but like the thing is, there's people clearly who have a line of OD that they don't know that they have, and they're calling it Scrambler. There's clearly that happening, right?
I can see that. I do think that's happening with some people, especially in the States. And like, I'm just like,
it's not everybody. I'm telling you, it's not everyone, but it's a good portion of them, like a big group of them that are doing that. And it's It's just as bad as turning it a shed and calling it Scrambler when it's OD, dude. It's not good.
No, I think that definitely is what's muddying the waters up, and I think more people have to just like work it and just let the snakes breed and see what you have and shed test for the OD once again. Like, but from what I'm seeing and what Mark's seeing, like I'm still like 99% sure it's something else, and like if not certain at this point.
Yeah. And again, man, you know, shout out to Mark Mandic, shout out to Ozzy, bro. Like, I don't think anyone, like, there was Bar Check, right? But as far as in the ball python game solely, nobody inspired me off the bat as much as Ozzy did. You know what I mean? And I'm not the only one. Like, Ozzy's just that guy. And I respect a lot of the shit that comes out of his mouth. And he even said humbly how he felt about Scrambler. He didn't say he was 100% accurate on it. He clearly said, I could be wrong.
Yeah, I saw that. And, like,
you know what I mean?
And to leave it open-ended that way is how I think it should be, until like you can like pull out examples. Like Mark, I don't think he has to leave it open-ended, because the way he can pull a single gene out and he can ID a single gene from the clutch. But someone like Ozzy who doesn't know yet, that's very like respectable of him, right? He doesn't know, and he's not saying this is the end-all be-all, but this is what I'm seeing. And maybe once again, like, come up to Canada, come look at Mark's collection, come to my collection, and you might have a different opinion after.
And again, something that not a lot of people could stomach, because I get it. But guess what? Justin Kabelka, he's been wrong before. Ozzy,
everyone's wrong.
Mark Mandic could be wrong too. Let's not fucking think of the fact that, not intentionally, but Mark could be wrong, just like anyone else is capable of being wrong in this hobby. Nobody is immune to being fucking wrong out there. Okay,
we're all human. We're all
fucking human, and we're all speaking from the heart, dude. I mean, for the most part. But a lot of this is opinionated. And again, dude, somebody like you, who I really respect because the amount of years you have into this, dude, and Mark, the amount of years he has into it, Ozzy, Justin, you know, the list could go on, dude. And that, honestly, dude, I don't shun people away like that who have fucking decades of experience. But I also don't shut off that they could be wrong. Like, but again, we will fucking find out, dude. Time, it's a matter of time, bro.
We will. And that's why I think Mark is definitely due for a recap on your show. And like, if he were to pull out some stuff, because me and KG do the podcast on Wednesdays on IG, and we had Mark on, and then some of those snakes, like, I've never seen just OD combos with those oranges ever. And the way that Scrambler seems to react with OD, like, some of them are not even super ODs, and they look better than super ODs. So it's like, there's definitely a gene in there coming to play with the OD that is reactive, and I believe it's Scrambler.
Yeah, and you know what? Like, it sucks, but Scrambler's been a huge punching bag. Like, it has been the prime example of what is fake or what is real. But that is one example of how many genes in this hobby that are just probably duplicated. You know, like, I'm curious about the granite stuff, okay? How many fucking names in the granite morphs are there now, Austin? A lot.
And I'm hearing new ones every day.
And guess what? Some of those are probably just a fucking duplicate, right?
Well, we'll
find out.
Yeah, there's a lot of genes: Phantom, Mystic, Hurricane.
We could go off. We could just go off.
Yeah, so we'll see what happens, but from what I'm seeing, especially with the pieds, like, the pieds are like, would really set me apart. Like, it's too uniform, and it's like so consistent with what true Scrambler does to pieds.
And dude, it probably wouldn't have been such a deep topic on Scrambler if we didn't have all these other poor examples to go off of. But I'm just seeing all the other fucking million of names that I'm just rolling my eyes on, and I'm like, dude, if there's this much this many red flags around it, why would you want to work it? Unless you see what you see, and nobody's opinion should matter. Like, if you fucking are looking at something and in your heart you're like, okay, this is something, well, guess what? Don't fucking go tell everybody you have a new gene. Maybe tell your closest friends, but just give it time.
Yeah.
Let it prove itself out. Because the pictures, bro, a picture should do all the talking. I'm sorry, but a picture of the fucking snake should explain itself. It shouldn't be a podcast. It shouldn't be a reel. It shouldn't be a story post or a post in general with a fucking paragraph caption. No, dude, the picture itself should do all the talking.
And that's why I think Mark is the best person to have on for this, because the stuff he can pull out in the single genes, like, he has just such a big gene, like a big pool to pull from, right? And he has so much generations of it, and like he can pull adults and stuff, and that's just something not many people are able to do. And
yeah,
I just say, I think if you guys want to work with Scrambler, buy it from the source. That's the thing.
I mean, if I was first and foremost invested in Scrambler, I would have made sure I only got it from Mark Mandic.
That's the key right there.
Or else I'm not working it. Period.
Yeah, if it's like there's a lot of people who say they have even Het Monsoon that didn't, and I'm sure people got burned.
Poor Trick.
I'm sure people got burned, and like, you know what?
I think the Trick people got tricked for sure.
They Trick Hurricane was the thing. Like I remember Jaffe Bear, like he was on World of Ball Pythons back in like early 2012 or 2013 for some trick combos, and I'm sure if that was a hurricane, that could have exponentially, like he could be doing a lot more in ball pythons, even though he loves the chondros now, and he's done great with the ball pythons. But Trick being what it was versus Hurricane, it's like you got trumped, you know?
You got trumped. All right, listen, wrap up topic on this whole, and this is great, by the way, this was a great fucking, like we have two grown men speaking on this right now. This is, there was no argument, there was no, like, we're just literally speaking like homies on a topic. So this was a really good episode, by the way, man.
I loved it, man.
This was fucking great. But one of my wrap up topics for you on Scrambler, which we didn't really touch on, right? Like we talked about gravel, asphalt being a super subtle gene, but what happens when you breed it to each other? Whammo, you get something intense. What's up with Super Scrambler? Well, what's the deal with that? Have you made any Super Scramblers? Why, you know, I don't know what it looks like. Can you explain what a Super Scrambler would do or what it does?
So supers, I haven't really bred them together much because everything that I have Scrambler in, I started putting into other projects that didn't have Scrambler, like my Ultramel stuff and like my Monsoon stuff that wasn't attached to Scrambler at all. So it's like for me, myself, I don't have any supers and I don't really know what the super looks like personally. But I think that'd be a better question for someone like Mark or some other people who believe they have them, because Mark would definitely be the best.
Some of his, has he showed you Super Scramblers or no?
No, we just touched up on the Scrambler, and maybe Scrambler's just single, doesn't have a super. Maybe, you know, some genes don't have supers.
Yeah,
but if Mark says he has it, and he can see it, I believe him, because the work that he's put in for his genes and like the way he's done it. It's hard to go and argue against that, right? And especially if he has something visual and he can explain it, because some supers, like not every super is going to be. Look at leopard. Super leopard looks like a leopard.
I mean, yeah, but yeah, that's true. Like I would say, like people don't know they have super leopards because they're looking at a leopard, but
yeah,
that's an actual thing. Like I think unless you're really staring at the minimal details, you could be like, okay, well maybe there's more of this and that, but again, that's too much investigating. Like.
Even then, you could be wrong.
Even then, you have to be. Yeah, you're right. I would agree.
That's where I'm at with the super, because I haven't seen enough of it. I haven't asked to see enough of it. I'm thrilled with what the single gene does, and if the super is better, then I'm all for it.
Yeah, I mean, KG has a point. He said White Flame's probably the biggest punching bag, and I would say definitely got its. We got our licks in on White Flame as well, because White Flame isn't even a White Flame. It's fucking. Yeah. We don't even know. But again, like I feel like. I don't know what the whole stirrup is with Scrambler not being a gene and people just waiting to prove it out, because the White Flame topic, nobody seemed to get their ruffles or their feathers all ruffled up. But again, I don't think White Flame is closely worked the amount that Scramblers work in the United States. And I think we really kind of pinpointed the whole White Flame deal, before it got too late. People clearly already know that Cosmo White Flame thing is something to look out for,
Yeah, and like even the language barrier with the originator, that could be a thing too, because I seen some contradictions of like and I was like, that's just muddying the water for that gene too. So I think shed testing would be the way to ideally prove it out. But even if it takes a couple more years for a shed test for Scrambler, you can visually see what it's doing in these combos, and like to find combos that look the same without the Scrambler, even if it's fake Scrambler on some sides, like they don't look like the true Scrambler stuff, and that's the thing.
And if it's nice, it's nice, Austin. Like if it's a beautiful 100%. Snake, it's a beautiful snake. People will buy beautiful snakes. The thing is it a $12,000 snake? That's the big question now. And that balloon got popped. And I feel like the ones who are mostly upset are the ones who are riding that balloon of cashing out on Scrambler. And without a shed testing, you ain't cashing out on shit anymore with Scrambler. It's not happening. Sorry.
Yeah,
People are all, they opened up their eyes now and they're waiting for a test. People are waiting for a test for Scrambler to be a high-end project. It's not going to be a high-end project until it's test.
Yeah,
And then even with the test, it might not even go back up. It probably won't.
yeah, I think like once again, if you really want to work with the Scrambler, go to MARC because that's your best bet on getting it, right?
Yeah.
Like so
I'm gonna go to MARC. I'm gonna text him. I'm gonna get him back on the show. You already convinced me, and I've missed talking to MARC. I don't know what it is about why I haven't hit him up in a while. He's just such a really nice guy. And again, dude, I think I wanted you to be the guest I bring on, and where we pin the Scrambler talk for a while because people think I'm just telling the Scrambler talk. I probably am, but it's a good topic. You can't tell me this isn't a really good fucking podcast. This is a really good hot topic and good information. But I think you're right. I think before I could really pin it on the wall, I need MARC on the show.
You need the originator, yeah. And like what I could say, like only because I agree with him yesterday and some stuff, and we've seen like similarities. It's like, yeah, but my word is not as strong as his, and that's why I think go to the originator is always the key.
Yeah, dude. Well, time will tell. Is there anything you want to close off with, bro? Anything you want to talk about? Before we wrap it up and call it a day.
Rust.
Tell me about it.
The rust gene.
What's the rust gene? This is new to me. What's the rust gene?
So I don't know too much about it. I've seen some photos. There's a photo going around with a rust. It's a lilac with ultramel.
Okay.
And I love ultramel. I don't know if you have the photo or if you can find it.
Where's it at? Where's it?
It's just floating around. People are sending it to each other at the moment.
Rust ball python. That's what it's called. A rust.
Yeah. Aurora. Is it Aurora?
Oh, new morph. That is okay. Well, what's his name? Steven from.
Did he post it?
He made a video on it.
Steven is actually the one who brought it to my attention when we had him on a Wednesday.
Rust. What do you guys think? Okay, let's check this out real quick. Let's see. I found it. So let's pull it up. If it comes up. All right, here we go. I
was gonna toss these my Dinker project.
Yeah, you're good. Yeah, you're good. Let's see. I found it on someone's. So here it is. God, this gives me Monarch vibes.
Yep, that's why I wanted to bring it up.
I mean, but also like it gives me like a cleaner look of Monarch. Like it's Monarch, but it's not Monarch. Like it's more
saturated, in my opinion, than Monarch is. And the thing is that there is a photo of all three, and so it shows a rust ultramel and an ultramel, and the one in the middle looks identical to me, at least. Some art people are saying it doesn't, but I can go and screenshot it and send it to someone and say, hey, is this a Monarch? And they'll probably say yeah. So it's like something comes out that's pretty cool. And I think that the rust by itself is definitely an avenue you can take it. But for people who are looking to get into the Monarch stuff and not really at that price point of Monarch, you can just get rust is still going to be expensive until it's more worked with. But using a rust, you can get like a Krypton type thing where you can get cryptics, but it's actually better than the Krypton, more like toffee, where you can get a toffee, a toffino, and an albino pretty much, right? So that's like the rust right there, and it looks really cool. But when you get the in between, I don't know how much trouble or if I'm going to get in trouble, but here's a photo of the three right next to each other, and the middle.
Send it to me. Text it to me, Austin. I'll pull it up. If you're allowed to.
I don't know if I am. I'll just show it real fast on here.
Right.
That snake is an ultramel, and that's a rust ultramel above it. So that looks.
So the rust ultramel is on the bottom, is what you're saying?
No, this is a rust ultramel. So
what's the one on the bottom?
That's just an ultramel.
Okay, I was gonna say.
So ultramel, and then above it's the rust ultramel, and that looks eerily similar to me than what the Monarch looks like. And I don't think it's really gonna affect Monarch pricing or anything. It's just another way to like go and here's all three together. So the rust, ultramel, and the ultramel. And you can kind of see it as you're looking at a photo. If you guys can find the photo, I'm sure you can get better. But to me, it looks eerily similar to a Monarch. But to me, the good thing about that is now you can work the rust into your ultramel projects, further that Monarch look real soon because how far the ultramel project has come. And then you can also, if you're breeding like rust ultramel to a rust ultramel with combos, you can even get all three in the mix. So it can really be versatile. and something I'm looking forward to. I'm not invested in it yet.
My
It's just something I'm really excited for to see what happens, and that's just like just the first things we're seeing right now, and that's something that I'm keeping my radar on for the future.
This isn't like a like Trump assassination tactic where you're trying to
no. I'm just saying like it's just cool that you can get all three in the mix. Like it's like
oh shit.
If you breed a Toffino to a Toffino, you can get albinos, Toffies, and Toffinos. So it's just something really cool that you can go all the way around with.
So here we go.
But definitely been assassination attempts on Ultramelon, and they've been
debunked for sure. Ultramel's the truth. It's a beautiful genetic. And shout out to Portuguese Pythons, somebody I like who works Ultramel. But
oh yeah, Danny's an amazing guy.
Yeah, shout out to Danny and Renee, man. But dude, shout out to you for coming on the show, man. Like again, dude, I had so many people just upset that we talk about this, and I'm like, why are you upset? Like, especially if you believe in it, then why you should want to hear more about it. And dude, you didn't deny coming on, and I knew you wouldn't. I knew you'd be down to come on and talk about it. Someone who's been quiet and humble about it, you're still down to speak your mind on it, and I'm happy you're this confident, dude. And whoever doesn't want to believe me or not, I am rooting for you, Austin. You will be the guy I bring on if there is ever even without shed testing. I'm just saying, if there's a shed testing for fucking Scrambler, best believe we're doing a 2-hour episode on Scrambler and it being a real gene, and we'll fucking whatever the fuck I got to do. I'm not going to donate money. That's ridiculous. But I'm just saying I will do something really cool. Okay.
Yeah. I don't expect you to donate money. I just hope by then I can have some really cool Scrambler stuff to show, Scrambler monsoon pies and stuff.
Yeah.
Hopefully. Well,
dude, I appreciate you, man. I need to have you back. I don't want to wait another 2 years to have you on. I need to have you back on, dude, because you're very active. I appreciate all your knowledge, dude. And this was a great episode, man. I'm happy I was able to do one to show people like my true stance, which is like, I'm not Mr. fucking, I hope your Scrambler goes to shit. No, dude. I act the way I'm treated, right? And I got a lot of people coming at me pretty hard about how I'm wrong. And that's, dude, when you tell me I'm going to be sorry and all this shit, you're going to get an extra version of MJ. That's fucking how I am. But also people who are passionately working Scrambler like yourself, I'm deep in my heart, I'm rooting for you guys, dude. I really am, man. So where can people hit you up, bro? If people want to reach out to you, if they want to maybe talk to you about Scrambler or anything, where can people hit you up at? Hatch_reptiles.
I believe is my Instagram. I tried getting Hatch on Instagram. Some guy has it. It's an inactive account. I already appealed 3 times to Instagram, and it just seems that they won't give it to me. But Hatch_reptiles on Instagram and Hatch Reptiles on YouTube. And that's pretty much it. And I came back with the YouTube a little bit, took a hiatus because I had some things at the new house that we had to go and figure out first. But YouTube is coming back strong, and I really want to go back to egg cutting videos.
And the trick shots and the cup trick shots. Bring those back, bro.
It takes too much time. It's too much. Me and Elias used to spend hours. So Billy caught us a couple of times, and he was like, "What are you guys doing?" So yeah, those days. Maybe I'll bring one episode back for that.
Oh, you know what? All right, hold on. Well, let's think about this real quick, right? Shout out to KG. KG's my boy, man. I love him. But
I love KG.
Hold on, let's put this out there. If I am wrong, even though I feel like I should give a bunch of people free chondros, but we'll just keep it out KG. If I'm wrong and there's a shed test for Scrambler, I will give legit, and this is on air, I will give KG one of my chondros. Okay.
Oh, jeez.
But hold on.
KG's right now like bet,
Check this out. But if in 2 years, if we see no shed test for Scrambler, what the fuck does MJ get? That's what I want to know.
Oh.
Okay. What does MJ get? What the fuck do I get? I would gladly hand you a chondro, but in 2 years we see no shed testing. KG, I want that energy. Tell me what I want 10K. How about that? 10K. All right. And guess what? If I lose, I'll give you a 10K chondro. That simple.
Oh,
there you go. There you go.
That's an even bet right there.
Boom. I'm just saying, hey, honestly, KG's getting one of my productions either way. That's my boy. And I appreciate you, KG. I appreciate everyone in the chats. Guys, do me a favor. Hatch Reptiles, one of the always been one of my favorites out of Canada, and that's a fact. He'll be back on the Trap Talk Reptile Network at some point. But guys, go give him a follow, Hatch Reptiles, and give it up. It's a wrap for my boy Austin, ladies and gentlemen.
Thanks for having me, man. I appreciate it.
Thank you. Hey, honestly, all love, dude. All love, and I'm rooting for you, bro. All right.
I really appreciate it. No, good. Just there's one more thing with the Chondros, you killed it, man. Like people were talking crap for a while, and it's like you did your due diligence. That's why I think like, you know what?
Hey, let him talk shit. Hey, go ahead and talk. What are you gonna talk shit about?
Yeah,
go ahead. I got fucking 35 holdbacks right here. What the fuck are you doing? Please talk shit. I want to know. But I can't thank you. I appreciate it, bro.
Yeah, no problem, man. Like
I love you, man. Thank you, bro.
Love you too, man.
All right, have a good day, bro. Talk to you soon.
Brother.
All right,
Peace.
That is what I'm talking about. All right. That's what makes the ball python game exciting, because we have so much to come and we don't even know it yet. All right. So I literally appreciate everyone in the chats. We just had shy of 80 people tapped in. That's what the fuck I'm talking about. All right, guys, please keep that passion. And if you see something, you hold it and you fucking work it. All right. Don't listen to me. Don't listen to any other podcast that aren't lining up with your views. Your views are your views. Stand on business, bro. Don't matter what anybody has to say. If you believe in it, you believe in it. And I'm rooting for anyone out there who truly believes that they got something. All right. Because whatever is a big hit for this ball python game, it's a win for all of us, first and foremost. And I want nothing but fucking winning for the ball python game. Thank you guys so much for watching. All right. I got to go hit legs, bro. It's a leg day. You feel me? Got to hit the gym. And also, I recommend anyone out there who's not active, go hit the gym. All right. First and foremost, especially before you come to my DMs and start running your mouth, hit the gym. Stay active. All right. Before you come my way. That's a wrap. Episode 763 in the books. Quick message from my sponsors. Find all the links in the description below. Have a good day. I'll see you at the top. Sorry for the interruption, folks, but a quick word from our sponsors. Shout tonight's sponsor brought to you by ZoomEd.
ZoomEd is proud to be supporting the Trap Talk Reptile Network. At ZoomEd, reptiles are our passion. For over 48 years, we've been creating premium foods, supplies, and habitats for reptiles and other exotic animals. We're a company made up of hobbyists that test our products on the hundreds of animals that we care for here every single day. Whether you're an established breeder or a first-time hobbyist picking up your first ball python, ZoomEd has you covered with everything you need to keep your animals happy and healthy.
I'm excited to talk about this new product with ZoomEd called the Slither Sense. It is a remote temperature and humidifying monitoring system, which we all know how important temperature and humidity is to your reptile. And for you to have remote access to your temperature and your humidity in your reptile room could really, really be a game changer for the longevity of you keeping reptiles. So guys, make sure you check out that product. Find the link in the description below. Click on it right now. Give me your feedback in the comments below. Let me know how you're liking a brand new ZoomEd product. Shout out to tonight's sponsor, and that is CLTCH, the #1 organization app in the ball python game today. Also, tonight's episode is brought to you by KINOVA Reptiles, the biggest world industry leading ball python company in the hobby, in the industry. So excited to announce this partnership with CLTCH and KINOVA Reptiles. No name that needs an introduction. As you guys already know, if you're looking to invest with the best, KINOVA Reptiles is the way to go. And again, if you want to be organized, if you want to be ahead of the game, there's no better organization app in the ball python game than CLTCH. Thank you so much to the entire CLTCH team. Thank you so much, KINOVA and the entire KINOVA Reptile team. Please continue to keep doing what you're doing. Nothing but inspiration, nothing but excitement coming from KINOVA Reptiles and CLTCH. And I'm excited to have more information to announce to you guys here in 2026. Thank you so much, CLTCH and KINOVA Reptiles. Shout out to Focus Cube Habitats, the #1 PVC enclosure in the reptile industry. Hands down, everything you guys see behind me are 3x2x2 PVC design enclosures by Steven and Ashley over at Focus Cube Habitats. My entire room at this point, all Focus Cube Habitat enclosures, and that is for a real reason. My reptiles love them. I've had majority of these Focus Cube Habitats behind me for over 6 years now. So guys, if you're looking to expand your reptile room and get yourself some new enclosures, no better place to visit than Focus Cube Habitat. You head over to focuscubehabitats.com and see how many different design enclosures you could choose from. And you can also follow them on Instagram and stay updated with all current new enclosures on their YouTube channel. So thank you so much, Steven and Ashley over at Focus Cube Habitats. And I think I got new enclosures in the driveway, so I gotta go. Shout out to Focus Cube Habitats, you are the best. If you're in front of the line, cutting edge, high-end ball python projects, you don't want to miss this. Shout out to Teresa and shout out to Devin over at PRAGUE MORPHs, the heaviest hitters out of Europe, currently in the ball python game. If you're into the double, triple recessives such as puzzle, hypo, and other amazing recessive, incomplete, dominant projects, and make sure you head over to PRAGUE MORPHs right now on Instagram. Check them out on YouTube. You can find all the links in the description below, and many more updates with RGI and PRAGUE MORPHs to come. So again, thank you so much, Devin and Teresa over at Prague MORPHs. Cannot wait for many more collaborations. Shout out tonight's sponsor, and that is Jersey Guys Balls. Father-son duo who are just slaying it in the ball python game. If you're into Sunset, if you're into Monsoon, if you're into Puzzle, this is the page you should be following on Instagram right now. Jersey Guys Balls are invested in some of the highest and most exciting projects in the ball python game today, such as Tornado and many other genes like Cosmos. So again, make sure you go check them out on Instagram. You can also follow them on YouTube, and definitely go give them a follow on MORPHMARKET. You can find all the links in the description below. And again, thank you so much, Brett, and thank you, John, over at Jersey Guys Balls. Thank you for all the fellow support. Thank you so much for anyone who watches the Trap Talk Reptile Network. Hit that like button. If you hit that subscribe button, hit that notification bell, you'll be notified of every new episode dropping here out of the network 7 days a week. And also by hitting that like button, hitting that subscribe button, it pushes this network out to other new keepers coming into the hobby. So by you doing that, it does more than you think. So thank you so much again for all the support. And if you're not already a subscriber, please hit that subscribe button. We're doing big things over here, and we really appreciate it.